a collective and say we have 100 people. Let's say we even have 1,000 people. Again, there's going to be many people that are going to have the same opinion of what you just said about the loyalists, where you don't want the ideas of one person being presented or whichever, whatever. They're not going to want a group of 1,000 people starting it and everything, because again, is that passing the threshold of the population of the country? So how do we get to the point where maybe it's just purely advertising and saying, okay, and 2 years from now, all we're going to do, all the different groups, is we're going to promote direct democracy, and that we're going to have this major convention in 2025 or 2026.
2 months from now, done. We're gonna
or even 2 months from now, whatever the date is. But then we have to, in a sense, pass those thresholds, right?
Before the new year, we want to start the new year without their bullshit. How about that? New Year's resolution. We're gonna make it early.
Well, that'd be great. But again, what I'm asking is how do we pass the threshold, say, under a true form of direct democracy? How do we get 51% of the voting population to get behind this right from the start and help plan it and every aspect of it? Because that's what it'll boil down to. Whether it's one person, 1,000, or even 10,000, it's still under that dilemma that it is a small group or fraction that is basically trying to implement change for the masses. So that's why I'm saying, like, whether it's one person or a group of 100 or a group of 10,000 or whatever, we should all have that basic end goal, in a sense, to just keep going forward, implementing, educating, planting seeds, basically ending with the Constitutional Convention, where we literally implement any system for which we, the people, want to implement. Whether it's a republic or a direct democracy, we'd have to put all those ideas together. And what if through Constitutional Convention and we have that referendum, and what if, say, 62% of all the people in Canada say, no, we like direct democracy and we like a lot about it, but we would prefer a republic? Then everything just went sideways.
Well, why can't you have both?
Well, that too. And then again, it's up to people like all of us right now to do the best we can to promote the positivities of why people should be looking more to direct democracy and why they should be listening and asking questions and talking with people like Matt, myself, Alice, all of you folks in the comments, anyone else that's working towards those changes. Because literally, to make those changes and to have our own representative law that we, the people, vote in, I don't know of any other way. That's through a constitutional convention, through the people of that landmass that they call. And again, with the original mapping and territories and all that bullcrap, we would just go basically by the what's already in existence to reform.
Can I say something here, Donnie?
Absolutely, man.
If you want a republic and you want to be sovereign, that's not possible.
Well, exactly. So again, it's up to people like us to inform the people against the people that are trying to push those narratives. When it comes down to the referendums and the constitutional conventions, this is where we have to keep voicing the positivity of direct democracy and stay the hell away from republic or like the Westminster system, which runs us now.
You can have a republic. You could just have direct democracy to create the laws. So republic
exactly.
is the law of the land. How do you create the laws? Do you do it through the representatives, corrupt representatives, or do you do it through direct democracy?
Well, you make exactly our choice. It has to be our choice on what gets changed in our area. And we'll come up with a system. Humans are smart. they're when we need to adapt, we do really good at it. Like, no matter what we get thrown in, typically most people will figure out what they need to do to survive. So
okay, but can I step in? Patriot, constitutional republic is the only way to escape our slavery. Have you seen America lately?
There's no better example.
Have you seen Chicago? Have you seen New York, LA, Philadelphia? Shall I go on?
They're the same thing as Canada.
I know. You're right.
New York right now is swimming.
They just call them different things because they're in different places. I can't believe how people always fall for that shit.
Right?
Exactly. It's all corporate.
Yeah, it's all everybody is owned by the corporation. So the only way that we become sovereign is if you take it back from them, which you're allowed to do, or we get rid of them so that way we don't have to all individually do it. Then we become our own entities. We don't get taxed the way how it is. Nothing will function.
Basically, we are the checks and balances. We, the
That's
people, are the checks and balances. We cannot rely on political parties to give us balance. It'll never fucking happen.
And I just want to say the thing I love about this conversation and all the conversations around direct democracy, one of the biggest things that makes me passionate about it personally is I cannot think of a better way to implement such great, amazing changes. And there's no other way that I can think of that is more peaceful.
Yeah,
I agree.
And that's why I want it that way. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want any more wars. I don't want
more protests. No more protests.
Yeah,
no more protests.
Yeah, no more we shouldn't need to protest if something's illogical. You know, if someone's worried about what's going on with their kid, it should be their fucking choice to make sure that their kid is protected how they wish them to be protected. As long as it's not teaching hate, then it should be fine. Like
exactly.
There's a lot of stupid fucking, pardon my language, I'm sorry. There's a lot of stupid things that people are doing that are destroying everybody. And
all right,
the system is playing us all.
All right. I want to reply to Patriot 70. Use the Black's Laws Dictionary to find out true legal meanings of words, not Google. Yeah, Patriot, I suggest that the American people do the exact same fucking thing because they're not under a constitutional republic.
How about everybody do it? We create a big movement with that too. We suggest the people that can read, and then we start doing lives. Literally how like the Freemasons have their lives, we'll have those lives specifically for that. And if there's only 5 people there, so what? That's 5 people that are going to spread it to a few people. Hey,
absolutely.
I saw about this.
That's how it starts.
It's the power in numbers, guys. And there's lots of us that would want to do stuff like this. Like you could do a platform. We could help organize all the people that like doing their lives, but we could help them keep their shit organized.
Matt, let me ask you something. There is a guy in England that he has it structured. Like I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm saying he's got it all structured on how it should work. He's actually got a flow chart. And I think this is really, really important because if you have like, for instance, if you build a machine, you have a schematic of it, right?
Right.
And then you basically, whoever is going to maintain it has got a schematic and they know how to work on it. Well,
right.
The same thing applies with direct democracy. You would show a flow chart of how it works and how laws get passed. And this is like a great example for people to see. And you know, some people will see it and they'll get excited about it.
First thing I want to see is laws removed. We have too many laws. There's too many laws.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
we definitely need to simplify society.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from a pamphlet point of view.
It'll advance very quick, actually. Society is going to actually catapult. We're going to be able to advance in 10 years what we were doing in like 30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that if you have some sort of pamphlet that you could show people what direct democracy is.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you guys are actually getting somewhere.
Right?
It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear, guys.
Yeah, well, it's all it takes, right?
On that note, I'm actually going to turn my mic off because I feel bad there. We got some other great folks in the room, and I'm going to give them a chance to speak their knowledge.
Well, Vice Scripts, the only thing I could say is that our voice has to get louder.
Yeah.
Much louder.
Yeah, it's got to get louder.
We got to say no. No, we're not doing your shit anymore.
Yeah.
We're slaves, guys. I'm sorry. I broke myself working my life away. No one should have to do that. And I know everybody's like, oh yeah, you got to do work, you know, but that's the fallacy of what we live in. They just exploit us to take all our money.
You know, I read a great quote today. The world is burning and we are the flames.
Is that Mel Gibson?
That said that?
No, in the picture, I can see a guy with white hair.
I think that's the guy from India.
That's Modi.
Small.
The Indian Prime Minister.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Different view. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see him the whole night because of the boxes. Okay. I got you.
I was
That
wondering
tricked
where
me,
you were getting
man.
Mel Gibson from.
No, I can't. I can barely see it. So
Yeah. So
Yeah, man, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Like, this sounds great, you know, like, I don't know if it'll help, but I mean, like, I'm going down to Ottawa and I get like I get 35 minutes to walk through Parliament, to look at everything, and the main reason why I did that is just because I want to see where the clown does his business. I want to see what the big deal is. I mean, not that that really helps, but I mean, fuck, you know, like, I'm sick and tired of, like, working my ass off for minimum wage and all that stuff, and just, like, you know, lasting 3 weeks at jobs and being like, you're too slow, you don't meet quota. How nice would it be to have a world where, you know, you're not being forced to stand on your feet for freaking 8 hours a day just to freaking make parts for some math company and then be told you're
all
not good enough at the end of the day.
all that stuff shouldn't actually even need to be. There shouldn't be any humans needing to be doing those things at this point. We can have complete robot autonomy. It would take only a few years. There's there. Look at Amazon. Look at Amazon. They went from having like normal warehouses to like now they have automated warehouses.
Oh yeah, we got one of those. We got one of those here where I live. It was just built. And then all they need is people to run the lines and just proof stuff, right? To make sure that the automated systems aren't making any mistakes.
Right.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, imagine when they start using their systems for like growing food and stuff, and we have big high-rise, like, the things are gonna change, guys. Like, it's just a matter of taking the system back.
Actually, Matt, I got 4 buildings that we can use for the vertical farming.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're called the 4 banks down in Toronto.
Oh, cool. Perfect. All right. Yeah. Well, I think that actually should be something to discuss. You know, if it is the bankers that are orchestrating everything, and they're funding the war machine with our money.
Hell yeah, they are.
Come on, it's our money. It's our war machine. It's our government, and it's not theirs.
I think I would start looking, if I may interject, with the banks right now, because I mean, if you look at Bank of Montreal, third largest bank, they're going to stop issuing retail car loans. And at the same time, Scotiabank sent me a letter that they're redoing the threshold from 80% to 65% for renewals. So people are going to have to requalify and have their houses reevaluated. But I was wanted to get back to that topic of direct democracy, because it was Canadian Loyalist and those guys introduced that to me, but I didn't have enough time to kind of process what it is, and I'd get back to them. And now that I've seen some lives in there, I think it's an excellent idea. I think it's an amazing idea.
Thank you. And most people do. We do too. We love the idea of it.
It's and back to the same thing, is because we've gotten all hooked up in this battle, especially from the States, where they're going, oh, capitalism, communism, oh, capitalism, you get to own your home. Not a lot of people are going to be owning their home anymore. They're renting and paying somebody else's mortgage. It's just gotten out of hand. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're going to be a society of renters.
There's too much foreign interest.
So we're under the hates capitalism or hates communism or hates socialism, and we're doing all these isms and throwing each other. But really, the levers of power are being pushed with these interest rates and everything else to make it unaffordable for people to live. And if you want to be a good citizen in a society, you have to be able to work at a living wage and have some sort of hope that at the end of the day, you're putting something away for a rainy day. and it's not happening.
Like I said, guys, the voice is going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
It gets stronger, it gets better, and then we have more options, way more options.
And it becomes contagious.
Yep.
And we have to remind each other we are all on the same team and stop our bickering.
Mm-hmm. And we have to get it to a point where you can simplify that concept of direct democracy so people can understand it. I mean, most people don't even understand how the system works now, let alone introducing another one. So it's got to be, straightforward and simple.
Actually, our current system is very complex, and I would say
absolutely.
that direct democracy is very fucking simple.
Yeah, but it would allow us to still help. Like there's a lot of structure already in the government that would be definitely utilized still. That people still have jobs doing those things, but we'd even try to make their jobs easier. So there's minimalistic. So you're going to really have to want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I think what happens, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, in some situations it's like this. You've got a system, right? And then there's a little bit that went askew, and a little more that went askew, and a little more that went askew. And at some point, you got to put the brakes on and insert something new, tear it down, and put something in place. Which doesn't mean all the substructures have to go, but you have to introduce something different. You can't just band-aid it, fix it, and patch it. It's like patching roads with little. At some point, you got to pave the whole thing over and come up with something new.
I agree, 100%, man. Bingo.
And it's at that stage.
Yes.
Because
no more band-aids.
I'm going to put it this way. I mean, if we took an issue, right, like what's going on in the schools and the safety of the children, nobody's really said to me it was any better these 4 years than the 4 years previous, than 4 years before that, and 4 years before that. Right? Nobody's done a study to show me that the kids are any safer or any worse off in the schools. But if you're going to fight that, you should be fighting that on your local level. You should be getting on your school council and being inside of schools, because legislation is not going to keep an eye on your children, right? Laws are not going to keep an eye on your children. They're only there for when things go wrong. So if you want to have influence, get on your school board. If you want to have influence in your small town, run for council or vote, for God's sakes, in the smaller elections, not just the big ones. You got to do it at every level. You got to keep punching down for whatever your issue is to get it driven across.
They're sexualizing the kids, guys. That's the bottom line. I'm sorry, but they shouldn't be teaching kids. A teacher should not be having that kind of relationship, someone that you don't know. And I think that there should actually be cameras at least facing the teacher, or maybe even the class, and the only time it gets accessed is if there's an issue. It's not open to the public, but if any parents have any issues with any kids, it should be able to be viewed by all the parents involved in anything that goes wrong. And I think that people with taking care of other people's kids should be held completely accountable. And like, if you don't like that, but even, guys, a lot of teaching can be done virtually by computers now. You don't even need these teachers anymore.
That's not true, Matt.
I'm like, they don't, like, you could have one teacher, dealing with 500 kids with the way how the system works now.
It didn't work, Matt. When they were, I'm just telling you, from the point of view of somebody who has had kids in the system, when they went remote, they were falling asleep while they were watching the board. And when you want to put cameras, Matt, when you want to put cameras in the classroom, parents are going to object to that. If you want to do that, you can volunteer. You can volunteer to go into a class. You can volunteer, and there's enough people around. Somebody wants to talk about the issue, you can volunteer to be in a classroom and monitor it. I did it for 10 years when I was in my school. I took my days off, and I would, pop in and volunteer and do some science stuff in them with the classroom, volunteer for their programs. There's plenty of things people can actually do. if they want to do it. And you've got so many people in a school that if you rotated through, you would have somebody in there checking on your kids as opposed to just having a camera on there. Because people don't want their kids filmed, even if it's within the school.
Yeah, well,
Hang on a minute. We have a technical issue. Hang on, we have a technical issue. Alice, somehow Vice got kicked out.
Yeah,
We
I
don't know
tried.
how.
I invited him back, and it's so high. It's highlighted in gray.
He said he hit the plus sign. It wouldn't let him come back in.
That's weird.
Nikki.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Alice. Hi, Roxy. Hi, Harley. Hi, Donnie. And everyone else. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Hi, Healthy Body.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Hey, Nikki.
Hi, Wonderful Necktie. And who's the one speaking like they're a servant to the government? Was that Flycaster? You're the only one I'm not following. It has to be you.
I'm a servant to the government?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you seem to sound like you need some kind of data or something from the government in order for you to believe your fellow people here that they're being totally duped into going into an agenda that isn't for the people. It's for a crooked government.
Okay, so you've been in the classroom, Nikki?
I've 100% had some freaking serious issues with the classroom. And
right.
Not only that,
okay, so
are
Nikki,
you going to talk over me the whole time? Or are you going to ask me a question and let me answer? Or who are you here for?
I'll wait.
Okay.
Down, Nikki. Down. Down, girl. Down.
Well, I just don't like being talked over, you know?
I know.
Well, I
Especially
don't
when you ask me a question, you should
I
at
don't
least
like being
let me.
called a servant to the government when you don't know.
Guys, let's do this one at a time.
Well,
Thanks,
that's what the
Roxy.
government calls all of us. Like, if you're a citizen of the corporation, then you're a servant to the government. That's how they consider all of us. We're servants to the government.
So, okay, I'm waiting to see if you're finished, Nikki, because I don't want to talk.
Especially when you placate to the fact that there's no issues. When everybody in this room right now, in this live, and in the comments, can bring up many issues that are going on.
When did I say there was
right
no
across the
issue,
board, whether
Nikki?
it be our education, our security, our infrastructure, like things are failing miserably. And you'd say, well, it's your guys' fault. You have to get in there and start voting local and da 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 da. It doesn't matter if you're local right now. And by the way,
Nikki, you have to let him respond.
Well, I'm still trying to respond to his question. So do I get to finish that?
But you're not responding, you're rambling. Can you actually just say what you want to say? We're all listening. We all have ears.
Okay, go ahead. I'll stop answering because it's a ramble. Go ahead, Flycaster. Tell us more how wonderful this government is and how distasteful we are with our votes.
Okay, so again, Nikki, you're putting words in my mouth. I never said how wonderful the government was. I said I was open to the idea of what you would call direct governance. And Canadian Loyalist knows me because he's been in a few lives with me and I've been in a few with Matt. So now you're just assuming that I'm saying these things. I'm trying to say that it's underrepresented voting in the smaller elections. And until you can place a system, which I think needs to be turned down and replaced, you have to kind of work within it and do as much as you can to push the levers on your own level. So, and Nikki, you still haven't answered my question. How many hours have you actually spent in a class in a school?
Your turn, Nikki.
You're muted, Nikki.
Nikki, hello.
I was having internet issues. I've got a bunch of lines and everything. I missed half of what you said there. But what I was basing my assumptions off of is when I heard you that you needed to see some sort of data that would specifically tell you that there was issues in these areas. And then I think you're going on to ask me how many hours have I spent in a classroom? Is that what you're asking me?
That was the first question I asked. I asked it a second time, and I've asked it a third time.
She's cutting out.
Okay, so as for spending time in the classroom, I've got 2 children, one that graduated during the pandemic, one's still in.
She keeps getting cut off.
Whoa,
I would go in very often.
How many hours, Nikki?
Combined with both kids, I've got 18 with one, and then you can add another. She's in grade 8 now, so combine those together, and that's a lot of time. So with the teachers around here.
Okay, so I've spent a decade in my school, starting when it went from 230 students to well over 1,000. I've had 2 kids go through the system, and I've been in there almost weekly volunteering on my days off. So what I'm saying is you have pinned me as somebody who's working on statistical empirical data. So if you're not going by the data, then you're going by your direct experience, allegorical stories, or your time spent in the classroom with observation. And I'm telling you, I've been in my school for a decade. I've been on school council. I've been on the PICs and the PAC councils. And so I've seen it from both sides.
Yeah, but do you think school councils work, Flycaster?
Depending on which council you're on, because different councils.
But that's the problem right there. It depends. It shouldn't be depends.
Okay.
I've been in the school system for 25 years, in the classroom every day. Councils don't work.
Okay.
I just want to say real quick there too, Nikki. I think there was just a misunderstanding in the very beginning. I've had many conversations with Flycaster, and a lot of the things that he talks about, and I'm not putting you down, Flycaster.
No.
He's genuinely asking a lot of questions out of wanting to learn.
I'm not trying to.
No, he asked good questions.
I'm not trying to snipe. I'm not trying to pin down anybody. I'm not trying to point out flaws, but throwing a camera in the classroom, I'm telling you right now, being on my council 10 years, no parent's going to sign off on that.
Yeah,
there are people who don't want their images. So I was just suggesting that might not work. And I'm just suggesting that people have to get more involved in the schools to have influence. If you have another suggestion
but Flycaster, if they get involved in the school system, they have to have a direct say. See, what you're doing is you're making your case, you're pleading with them, and ultimately they make the decision. That's where I have a problem with. I agree with the camera thing, though. I agree with the camera thing. I agree with you, Flycaster.
Also opening up the door for more.
Guys,
also opening up the door
can we
for
talk one at a time, please? I don't want to talk over you. One at a time. All right, go ahead, Matthew.
A parent, what if it's one of them, and then they're building relationships with the class, and they're now you're opening up the door for another person to possibly get into a classroom. I'm not saying that's a common thing, or I don't know what those statistics are, but in every group there's always that one piece of shit.
Well, I mean, then we have a fundamental problem, Matthew, because who's to say that you volunteering in a classroom and I'm volunteering in a classroom and you don't like my idea?
It's incident related. You just have the cameras rolling. Yeah, no one's watching it. It's literally just like it's run off on the side, all old school tech. And if anything happens, then there's always evidence. And the kids will report. The kids will tell their parents, "Hey, I saw something weird in the class today, Mom," and then the parents can request it, and then they can see it. There needs to be some sort of accountability.
There's definitely validity to what you just said, Matt.
There's always
Because if there is an actual crime that's committed, then the police need to have that evidence so they can proceed, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I remember growing up, there was some fucking mean teachers, man. There were some really nasty teachers. So I'm sure if you're like 20 years older than me, you may have gotten hit by a teacher and that was okay.
Well, I'm not 20 years older than you, but I remember getting hit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, wow.
So I guess that raises an interesting question. Did you guys have good experiences in high school or bad experience in high schools or both?
Depending on the teacher.
Exactly.
There was you know what? There's actually, I'm pretty fucking sure that I witnessed. If I was not aware to what I saw, but there was definitely old creepy fucking man picking out the most timid woman in the classroom. I know. So I know for a fact shit like this happens.
I have seen that. I also, when I went to high school, we had a teacher, Mr. Gom. And Mr. Gom was a very German teacher, and he walked in that door. He would slam the door, and you had to stand at attention. If you weren't listening, he would break a ruler over your desk, over the boys. It didn't matter. He got so mad one day because nobody had their homework done. He threw the desks around, kicked everybody out.
Should we have cameras in the churches?
Yeah.
There are cameras in the church.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every fucking room that's not a bathroom should have a camera in a church.
Right. And also, I'm just asking, guys, I'm not trying. And should we have it in those, like, you know, those playgrounds they have all now where the kids go for after school activities?
No, because there's always like a few there's a few people watching. Maybe security cameras outside of it if it happens to catch two kids, you know, scrapping or some shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think like if there's that's the whole point of the supervision, right?
Yeah, you're right. There are always like when the kids are younger, there are always parents in there. So that's
So either ways, guys, like there's a lot of issues with our system that can be fixed if we have the opportunity to be able to fix them quickly. Like we would pick just a logical thing, not things that would require big votings. Like if we pick a world of logic, like there should be something else besides direct democracy that encompasses direct democracy, but that we go for a logical, sustainable, autonomous system.
Quick question. So we know we got a teachers union. Do we have a parents union?
We're going back to that.
Because the teachers union seems to get themselves out of a lot of binds, right? Like with COVID, or let's say a teacher does act inappropriately. We got a lot of backroom kind of deals go on. They'll get suspended for a year, whatever, and then they get to come back and start teaching again. And most of that never even gets made public. They don't get charged criminally or anything like that. I don't understand why. You'd think that would immediately have to go to officers to investigate and charge said person. But I know personally that never happened. And especially with COVID, we abused our children for 2.5 years, forcing masks on them and everything else without ever once having a parents union where parents actually got to go in and interject and say, hey, there's no statistical data and children were the least at risk, and yet they forced masks on them anyways.
That's actually a good point to make too, Nikki. So like even again back to direct democracy, what if like at the local level, when you go into not just a parent teachers night or whatever, but you have say the monthly meetings of the counselors, and parents are welcome to go in there and literally participate as an equal voice and choice to vote on the policies they go forward with that we want for our children and curriculums.
That was a great idea, Nikki.
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to get to before I was ranting.
I think in this better system too, there should be a new way to investigate any allegations made against offenses to children, because in our present system, children's eyewitness has no value in court, so that's an issue too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, kind of like what Nikki was talking about in the beginning, is once any of these individuals have been found guilty of a crime, any crime, basically with a child, I don't give a shit what your profession is. I don't care if you were a teacher for 20 years. You are basically literally banned at that point.
Yeah.
And if they knew they were going to lose their career, their pensions and everything, and obviously I'm not just talking about teachers, I'm talking everybody, like certain sectors, like vulnerable sectors, like how you have to go through vulnerable sector searches and stuff like that if you're working with children, same thing. You're no longer allowed to be around children in those settings ever again.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about in particular had 3 separate, and on the third one, it was inappropriate touching, and he only got a year suspension, and he's back teaching.
Exactly. Ridiculous. It should have been permanently. You're never going to be a teacher around children for the rest of your life.
And the other 2 were conversations with texting and such with students, and a lot of inappropriate stuff. Like, there should be no communication whatsoever with a student like that, period. Like,
Nikki, I like your idea.
Nikki's a very smart woman.
I do come in a little hot though, so sorry, Flycaster, but the way you were saying that data needs to be presented and stuff kind of made me a little bit like, are you aware that there's backroom deals? Like, even the union with COVID, they had a backroom deal with the teachers to pay them regardless of classroom attendance, and then went on to say, well, we're going to do this online thing. They only showed up for an hour once a week, and people think they fell asleep for that hour. It was once a week at literally 9 o'clock in the morning. If you have children who don't have a routine and they've been left to their own devices for a whole freaking week, and then one day out of that week you want to try to wake them up and get them to focus for an hour, you're on glue.
Yeah,
I agree
with you. We had a teacher like that in the school who just came in, and I was volunteering in the school, and all she was doing every time you passed the room was texting on her phone, and nickname was Texter after a while, before it was caught.
Did you hear the part I said that this was like mandated across the entire country?
Yes, I did.
Okay. This wasn't just one twinkle toes sitting there playing on her phone. This was mandated for the entire country to cut off. By the way, we've got laws in place that say that these children have to be in school, right? And not at any time did these supposed mandates allow parents to come in and actually hear the backroom deals going on. To this day, they haven't produced not one shred of evidence that it benefited our children in any way. If anything, all I've heard is the evidence that it actually kept them behind, caused a lot of problems, especially with the masking and stuff when they did go back.
Okay.
And even the teachers that I have spoken to that will talk about it, most of them just laugh and mock about it and think that it was just, oh, we got paid regardless of classroom attendance. It was great. Ha 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 ha. They're thieves, by the way.
So when we're talking,
Healthy, would you mind muting? You got a lot of background static. It's making it difficult for everyone.
Another great problem is a lot of these predators insert themselves in institutions where they're in,
exactly,
authority. So, like 10 minutes away from me, there used to be they called it a retreat for rehabilitation, and I didn't know what it was. It's very close to 2 public schools here. It's actually there to rehabilitate Catholic priests who have abused children, and they have a whole facility there for that. So I'm saying,
great, but they're not allowed to integrate back into society.
So
when you bring up the Catholic priest, do you
I
also
haven't,
go
Nikki,
into
I
the
haven't finished.
scouts and the Girl Guides and karate and
But I
all
haven't
the other extracurricular activities that literally get all the monsters come along in those areas too? Boys and girls programs, camp for kids. Do you bring up all of those, or do you just straight go after Catholic priests? Are those the only ones?
Can I ask you a question? Was anybody listening to what I actually said before? I'm just asking because I've been listening intently. I said that these individuals insert themselves into all sorts of institutions.
Yeah.
And I did say that before I prefaced it. But every time I come up with a comment and I choose an example, because I'm not going after Catholic priests, I'm telling you there was a thing located right next to my public schools here. So as soon as I said Catholics, priests, it could have been Protestants, it could have been the United Church. But as soon as I said that, you asked me if I only go after Catholic priests. After I prefaced
well, it's because I hear that a lot, and sometimes it kind of sounds a little bit
what I'm
gimmicky.
Saying, did you hear?
I'm just telling you, it takes away a lot of your integrity when in the last. It does, because in the last few minutes,
it just gets used as a prime example, though.
You said Catholic 3 times.
Yeah,
so I'm just wondering if you bring up the other ones as well.
Because I am Catholic, Nikki, so I can
so am I. And you know what, Nikki, I do have a problem with the Catholic Church. By the way, I was Catholic. I'm sorry. There's a lot of shit going on there. Hold on, Nikki. Hold on, Nikki. Nikki, hold on, Nikki. Hold on, Nikki. Nikki, hold on, Nikki. Hold on. But their Pope and their Vatican does nothing about it. They just shuffle these priests all over the world. Like somehow that's the right thing to do.
And same with the schools that I'm talking about. They literally did a backroom deal. He was only suspended for a year and he's back teaching again. Same with the Boy Scouts. Same with gymnastics. They never bring up all of the other ones, all these other institutions where we go and drop our children off and think they're safe.
Nikki, you keep putting me in a group there, and I did say there, and if I was done with the Catholic priests, I would say it's also done with these charities that go overseas to help the people. They do the same thing. Predators get in there and abuse the children there, and the institutions cover them up. So whether
we need an entire worldwide children's protection agency.
That's what we need. We need that because then
that becomes a part that actually that's a good way to unite people too.
Yeah. So and what I'm saying,
I agree.
And what I'm saying, and I said it in the beginning, that these people, the predators, insert themselves in these institutions, whether it be the Scouts, whether it be, and I work with the Scouts, whether it be all these fundraising groups, whether it be all these charitable organizations. But when things go wrong, the organizations protect them, they hide them, they shift them around to other areas. It's deplorable. And
so you think a parents' union would be fantastic? That way they wouldn't be able to just hide, duck, and cover it up.
I think
we would always have a member of that parents' council available and ready to monitor whatever was going on in any of these institutions, including the school board.
Absolutely.
I think it should be an international offense to hurt a child and to change the outlook, change the direction of their life because of either even the abuse that some of us got from some of these teachers was just inexcusable. They shouldn't have been fucking teachers.
Well, I think masking kids for the last 3 years was absolutely disgusting.
Teacher, leave my kids alone.
But who gets to be...
Literally, they have that in the video. Kids masked. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, literally.
I'm just, and I mean, it becomes the same thing again. Who gets to get on these parent councils, and are they going to share your views, and are they going to hold them to the flame when things go wrong? Right? Is there accountability?
Well, that's another thing that's coming up right now. Is a lot of people are trying to demonize parents like they're part of the problem, and I'm like, for the most part, parents truly do care about their children. They don't want to just put them into harm's way. If they know something is awry, I don't think they're just willing to toss them in there. But then COVID came along, and I seen all of these great parents that spend all of the time and activities and everything else for their children, masking them up and just dropping them off at these places and totally unaware. Like I see them talking to this one specific teacher all the time, and I'm just like, I don't understand why nobody would go up and say something. I did. I had no problem. Like, you come near mine, and I'm not a helicopter parent. I'm a stealth bomber parent. You're not going to see or hear me coming. So you might as well just stay away from mine. Far away. Don't talk to her. Don't look at her. Just be in your own direction. And luckily, I didn't get him as her teacher this year because we would have had major issues. And I'm one of the very few parents that have been told by my school, Nicole, you're the only one bringing up these concerns. And I'm like, really? Well, that's even more concerning to me that we've got all these great parents that like to go around and showboat themselves as great parents, and they ain't making these phone calls. They're not concerned.
You know what, Nikki? I'll just say right off the bat, I was actually one of those parents. I didn't like it or anything like that. We sent our kids to school with like basically, I don't know, 8 or 10 masks. So like literally we told them change it every single chance you get, all this kind of stuff. I bitched about it. I didn't like it. And then after the mandate stopped, I had a really nice conversation with the principal and a few of the teachers. And I was as polite as I guess I could have been. And the one teacher literally said to me, well, I'd be extremely happy if we were to just go back to masks and stay with masks. And I looked at her and I said, if you think we're going to go back, unless it's like a bubonic plague or something like that and people are dropping left and right, I said, you're not going to be putting no fucking mask on my kid again. And that was the last time we had a discussion about it. I said, have yourselves a wonderful day. If there's any issues, please contact me.
Yeah. That must, I bet you having them locked up for that long, masked. I talked to during the convoy. There was parents brought their kids, which I really didn't agree to. But you'd hear the kids telling everybody what it's like at school, and that's not that's complete control. It's horrible.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what I mean? Like
kids that couldn't do their own fucking proms.
Yeah.
Like you look forward to your entire, school life to go to the prom, and like 3 years or 2 years worth of kids couldn't go. Was it 2 or 3 years?
3 in some cases.
I truly feel as if the parents and the teachers completely failed the kids that entire time. And the sad thing is not only were we not invited to come and actually sit down and grasp what little understanding the teachers got to have when getting their orders from their unions and what they were going to do. That to me was negligence and malfeasance at the very least.
Well, don't forget to mention also, Nikki, any parent that tried to stand up any time in the past 3 years was labeled fucking crazy.
That's what I'm getting to.
Exactly. Like they ostracized you.
I'm still ostracized. My daughter has even had injuries and they don't even call me. And I'm talking like injuries where like her kneecap was blown apart and freaking bleeding and everything else. They refuse to call me. I've even had Go Fuck Yourself Friday for the last 2 years where I let her stay home if she so chooses so that we can keep up with my deschooling, because in deschooling we do things that are of importance for her adult life. Whether that be cooking, learning languages, cursive writing, learning finances, learning how to write a constitution, learning laws us that, and both of us enjoy it. Both of us learn and teach each other and grow from it. So we like our Go Fuck Yourself Fridays. And they won't even call me. I literally got a letter from them once saying that she was missing too much school. And I tried to call, and he was like, "Oh, I'm a little busy right now." I'm like, "Oh, but you weren't too busy to write me a letter? Or you guys haven't contacted me in 2 years. Like, well, what's going on? You just finally counted the days now? Because I got them all written down, and I know exactly how many your bus driver missed too. So what are we gonna do about this?" And he was
And
like,
then
"Oh,
snow
well,
days and all that too, right?
oh yeah, like I've got one of the worst bus drivers everywhere, anywhere. She literally takes every second Monday off. It's pretty ridiculous.
What's the salary for that with every second Monday off?
Oh,
No.
she still gets paid regardless.
Sorry, I'm just being a smart ass.
Just like our teachers get paid regardless of classroom attendance. So they get paid regardless of whether my daughter's there or whether we're having a Go Fuck Yourself Friday. Like, they're still getting paid. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's a question. If anybody knows, is like you just said, they're still getting paid. But isn't there additional funding per district that they get still based off of attendance? Basically, bums in seats or whatever.
I think they completely got rid of that by the sounds of it, by when I was talking to my principal and a couple others, and how they would go into the staff room and laugh at the fact that now they get it regardless of classroom attendance. They get their little ass sitter bonus and they get their salary. So
I'd have to double check in Ontario, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the funding's still based off of bums and seats, and there's like a threshold of so many days they're only allowed to miss and stuff like that. I don't know. How about the rest of you? Because I know we got quite a few folks in here from around the country.
I will double check on that.
It's seats and mileage.
I'm not sure about that, but Direct Democracy Farm had a question about direct democracy in education. And basically what he was asking is if we can vote on that. And I said, yeah, I think so.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think education is a human right. So if we go direct democracy, I really think that we should base it on common law and the human rights first and foremost.
But Nikki, I'm talking about curriculum. I'm talking about how we should set the curriculum in the
If
schools.
I could just finish just one statement, it would really make it great. And I know I'm a little ranting bitch, but that's okay. So based on that it's a human right and everything, when it comes to things that we do in our referendum, I like that to be based on policies, right? So whether that be policies in our education, healthcare, security, infrastructure, whatever, that's what gets put into the referendum.
No, I'm talking about education.
Okay, you go ahead. Talk.
No, I'm just saying if we can vote on education through direct democracy, and I think we can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and that's the other great thing about direct democracy. It's not just national, right? So provincial issues, municipal issues, literally like our mayors and councillors, if we could get enough of those people even on board and just apply whatever we can through the current system till we can change it, then it's going to allow people to see what direct democracy can really do. And even at municipal or district, school board issues, public works issues, funding, stuff like that, why not get the people right down at the smallest level involved? And even at municipal, like I'm just going to use for a quick example, the community I live in right now just raised the property tax. First proposal was 42%. They raised our property taxes 34%. I think that sets a record across Canada. Insane increase. Now, if we actually had the opportunity as the residents of this community to hold a referendum within our township and vote against our councillors and mayors and say, oh, hell no, you ain't raising it 34%, where every other community on average is between 3 and 6.
What justifies the increase?
Oh, there's you don't want to get me started on that. mismanagement over the years, roads, this and that.
That's
because
not a taxpayer's problem. That's a infrastructure management problem, not
there
the
you
fucking
go.
people's problem.
And the last meeting that we had actually was the only public meeting since COVID, because there was people obviously upset for good reason, right? There's at least a dozen people I know that are in process of losing their family farms that have been multi-generational because of the tax increase, basically. It's insane, right? So the last meeting, there was actually, I believe, about 8 OPP officers present right there at the doorway. And one of the questions we tried to ask was, because we looked at the budget and what they're asking for example, is a major chunk of funding is to purchase new snowplow equipment, other aging equipment. And we said, well, if you look at most other industries and if you look at the tax write-offs, all this kind of stuff at a business level, because that's what your municipalities are, they're all little corporations, businesses, why in the hell would you increase the taxation so much just to purchase this equipment that is going to have the same damn warranty as if you were to lease it? And if you lease it, instead of coming up with $2.8 million right off the bat to buy 4 pieces of equipment or whatever it is, you're only going to pay maybe a couple $100,000 over a year or two, depending on what you need in lease payments. Your lease is done, you get a brand new piece of equipment again. They would not even give an answer to that. They said, well, actually, no. The only answer I got from one of the counselors was, well, yeah, I'll definitely look more into that. But he said, I think that might go against the union agreement. And I said, the union agreement? I said, what the hell does that have to do with anything with the purchasing or leasing of the equipment? I said, the only men and women that are present as employee underneath the union here locally are the ones that are driving the equipment as operators. They're not even repairing the equipment. He didn't know what to say. He says, I'll get back to you. Well, that's been over 2 months now.
Canadian?
Yep.
You were asking about the funding for, well, at least my area. It's whatever bums in seat at the beginning of the year. That's what they get funding for. And because I caught slack big time when I pulled my son out and said I'm homeschooling them.
Oh yeah, because they were going to lose funding for his bum in the seat, right?
Yep.
And what province are you in again?
I'm in Ontario.
Ontario, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're kind of up north too, aren't you?
Correct.
But we got to blow the budget so we get a bigger one next year.
And you know what? That's a friggin' great point, because that's the thing. If you don't use the money, you won't get the same or an increase.
Exactly.
If you save money, then they're going to give you that same amount minus what you saved, right?
I mean, what a bunch of bullshit that is, though, eh?
It is nonsense.
Exactly.
You can cut government in half and it would still be functioning.
Oh, you're damn right it would.
So it's all bullshit.
Well, and again, I'm not trying to pick on teachers or anything either, but one of the things that pissed me off here in Ontario anyways was when, the last strike that happened, and was, again, over finance increase, stuff like that. And by no means are the teachers that first start out, sure, give them a bump up. But don't there's a lot of teachers that are making 6 figures, and I'm talking at the public school level. And that's fine. I have no issues with teachers making great money, but at the same time, when we talk about putting in an additional 20 million or 200 million into education, well, I don't want to see that, and I'm sure most of you don't want to see the majority of that going into salaries that are already, in my eyes anyways, sufficient. You take that 200 million and you buy all these laptops for all these kids to use, or advanced equipment, or better playgrounds, a new track to encourage physical education, and so on, right?
Well, there's lots of solutions and ideas, but how are they implemented? How do you change the system that's in place? You think they're going to step down and say, oh, okay, give it a fair shot.
Well, no.
Let's see what you can do.
If you're talking education system, then basically you'd have to do that at the local level somewhat. Yeah, fire them away.
So So I was doing some fucking research, and under Article 15 of the Universal Basic Human Rights International Law, everyone has the right to nationality. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his or her nationality, nor denied the right to change their nationality. Under just that alone, if we create our own constitutional republics, that's a nation. We'll be one nation. And then within our republics, we can write out however we want. And I like Donnie's idea. And,
it's not my
I've
idea.
spoken with Matt and plenty of other people where it's liquid democracy first until people get a good idea of how it's going to fucking roll. And liquid democracy has a nice mix of direct democracy and a little bit of dynamic representation. So as long as we got the people in there that we can vet, and then we can start taking responsibility for our own information and being informed and on top of things and voting, we can change a lot of stuff, and we can bring it back to how it was supposed to be to begin with, instead of all top hit.
The liquid democracy
Holy
thing.
fuck!
Sorry. Sorry, did someone say something?
Something about a big red truck.
Holy truck.
That's what I heard too.
Look at it like this, in a way. Right now, we are all farmers. And all this knowledge of direct democracy or absolutely any form of making anything better, that's a big pocket full of seeds that we all have walking around. And all we got to keep doing is literally like throwing these seeds of great intention and just ideas of working together and coming together with all these different ideas and taking all the best of the best and the ones that we don't think as a collective are going to work, then we make that choice together, right? But that's all we are. We're all a bunch of equal farmers, and some of us have different seeds or whichever, whatever, but they're all seeds and they're all going to help grow and grow.
Yeah,
and I honestly believe everyone in here has that ability over the next 5 years to have that chain link of literally 10,000 plus people easily.
So, Don, here's the thing. I just wish people would get to their fucking points and they would get to them quick instead of like just dragging it out. You know what I mean? This is what upsets me every time someone comes into a live. They just talk, they talk and talk and talk and talk. Just get to your point, get to it briefly, and don't drag it out.
I got one. We all have great ideas. Everybody has great ideas. How do you take down the current system? That's what you need to focus on. How do you take down the current system to implement the change? Go.
Constitutional conventions.
Yeah, but no one's doing it, and nobody has done it, and it's not being done. Next.
No.
Let's do it.
You're actually wrong on all three of those points, Vice Grips. There's
Okay.
all three of those processes being in process right now.
And who successfully completed it?
Well, that's the thing, is you have to get it to the level
There's
where
the thing.
all of us advertise it to the general public, where we can get that
And
massive
Doug
amount
Ford's
of
been talking
population
about it for
aware.
10 fucking years. Duke has been talking about it for years. Who
Yeah,
has done
no.
it? Who has done it? Exactly.
It has to be done.
Where is it being done at, Donnie?
Exactly. It's not.
There's individuals that have been working towards constitutional conventions, and obviously you'd have to have somewhat of a base platform of the ideology that you are offering or you want us all to offer in that sense. And literally, a lot of people, like I'm not going to speak for Duke because I can't remember completely what he and a few others on that side have said, but a lot of people say you don't need a large group of people. You only need maybe a couple hundred, couple thousand,
Okay,
10,000, right?
Donnie, just name one person that's done it. Just one. Just one person.
Well, I already told you it hasn't been implemented, so nobody.
Yeah, Johnny, can I? Okay, so he keeps saying that all you need is 100. No, you don't. No, you don't. I mean,
Well,
okay,
exactly.
unless you're gonna start an island, you're gonna find like a small little island, and then those 100 people that agree with it are gonna live there. Then yeah, but you're doing it in a country that's got 40 million people.
Exactly.
Yeah, people is not going to cut it. Not even 5% is going to cut it. Yeah, I get what he's saying. He's saying that 5% started, but eventually you're going to need at least over half.
Exactly. Like if you want it to be a true democracy, would you not think, like myself personally, to me, that threshold would be a bare minimum of 51% of the entire voting population.
Okay.
That's a big goalpost, I know.
But your 51% speaks for the other 50% that didn't want it.
Well, again,
so you're back to square one.
Yes
you're
and no.
Same system.
Because from that point on, as it gets implemented, you would, all people from all sides would still have their own voice and choice. Everyone is not going to agree on every single point in the referendums, right?
Sure. But a 51% is a majority vote, right? That's what we're talking about?
Well, yes, it would be a bare minimum to be legitimately recognized across the globe.
Okay.
Nobody could dispute that referendum or the constitutional convention that you had if you had 51% of the voting population of that set land or whatever, right? So obviously go back to the provinces, whatever, but let's just say Canada. We have roughly, I think it's like 31 million people that could register to vote. So that would basically be, what is that, 15.5 million plus one. You would need at least 51% of that entire voting population to even have it approved for that process, right? Or to be recognized in the international community.
I'm not trying to be a stick in the mud or a bubble burster. I'm just trying to be a realist and a devil's advocate, right? So
absolutely, man.
I'm not trying to be a prick, but 51% has majority say over 49% that didn't want it. So you're basically essentially a dictatorship like the system we have now with a 30% vote for 40 million people. And he's speaking for 40 million people when only 30% people voted for him. He's affecting us all.
Trust me, I understand exactly what you're saying and what you're meaning by it. It's not perfect, and that's why I even said earlier, like what I think of the bad things of direct democracy is unfortunately there's going to be times that there's always going to be a certain percentage of people that are not going to get the results in their favor, if you will, right? So whether it's 5% or that 49%, again, direct democracy is the will of the people, the majority basically rules. But again, as long as those referendums or decisions don't go against the basic human rights of absolutely anyone, then that opens it up for referendum on absolutely everything else. The criminal code, taxation, if any, our healthcare, our education, you name any part of our way of life and society as Canadians, or what we want as our future as Canadians, that's what we vote on.
Okay. In a perfect world, that potentially could work. So my question is again, and sorry for being repetitive.
No problem, man.
If your direct or constitutional conventions don't work, how do you change the system? That's what we need to focus on. Not the options, not the ideas, not the plans, because a plan is fuck all without any action.
No, the solutions.
But it's nothing without action. And if you don't have a way to change the system, you can't change the rules in the system if you don't change the system. So how do you change the system? That's what everybody needs to fucking work on. Focus and think about it.
It's almost going to boil down to two things, and all I'll say is either A, proclamation, or B, declaration. Declaration, not so peaceful. Proclamation, very peaceful, and if you make the proclamation as the people, the majority of that set so-called nation, it will be recognized by the international community, including the UN, NATO, and so on.
But are we talking about the same UN that wants to run a one world government and take over and power everybody in the entire world? Are we talking about they're going to be on our side?
They would only recognize. You could literally get multiple countries around the world. You could get China, Russia, India, Pakistan, many of the countries in Africa, Brazil, whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of countries are going to agree to that because then that would undermine their system
and like their wealth.
Sorry, not undermine it, would threaten.
Well, they might not like it, but in a sense, any of them that believe in true democracy would be a hypocrite to not support it when, again, the majority of the people of that nation or that land
I get
have chosen the path they want to take.
But I'm just saying that they'll make up excuses or they'll make up stories as to why
of course they will.
People terrorists.
Yeah,
come
and
up
Alice,
with some fucking shit, right?
Alice, I said that before, and I was saying I'm not trying to be a stick in the mud. I'm just trying to be.
I hear you're saying, yeah. No,
just
being realistic. Too, yeah.
America,
America. It's great you're asking these questions because that's the stuff we got to think about too, man.
America has a major interest in the resources of this country. Do you think they're going to sit there and allow you to cut them? Do you think they're going to let you cut them off until you figure out your shit?
Choice. That's why we have to do it worldwide.
You know what, Matt? I literally would not ultimately. I want to agree 100% with that. I wish. I honestly, I wish
it will happen. I promise
we could just have that happen and happen quick. Call me Donnie, dude.
Donnie, sorry, it's seeing names. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm just used to calling you that for so long, so.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh, just so you know, too, if you guys want a good laugh, I don't always look like my profile picture, and I'll give you a sneak preview because my wife hates it, and
he's got the beard.
He's trying to copy the beard guys.
Yeah. Let me see here.
We have a beard competition going on.
Oh, shit.
Howdy, folks.
It's nice seeing a face to the name.
Yeah, usually I got the old clean shave look or whatever, but the wife hates it. It's the first time I've ever actually had a full-grown beard. I usually leave a short, whatever you call it.
It's called the French tickler.
It looks good.
It's keeping me warm, though. It's probably warmer in the winter. I don't know. I'd have to ask Matt and a few other guys because I've never had a full beard in the winter.
This is the first time you've grown a beard?
The first time I've ever grown a full beard.
That's so cute.
Oh. Yeah, I've had a goatee or whatever you want to call it quite a few times, but
goatee when I was 14.
Yeah. I wasn't 14 when I had one. I don't think I started really growing a mustache and stuff till I was probably around 18.
It was later for me actually, but yeah, same thing.
Alice, were you saying something?
So yes,
I don't know about you, but I don't have that problem at all.
I was going to say that's
especially on the Skidoo.
Yeah, the voices have to get louder.
What?
So
can't hear you in the back.
Right, exactly. But if everybody, excuse me, if everybody agrees to this idea, then people have to talk about it with other people.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, that's the start, anyways.
It's got to get traction for sure.
Yeah. I think it can actually very easily. I'm going to try to get motivation to do a video for it tomorrow, and hopefully a few other people do their own rendition of whatever, but we have to start doing something, guys. We have to start putting out content that is geared strictly towards changing the system because it's not changing itself. It's only getting worse. Sorry, it is changing, but in a negative manner.
People have to know what it is before they can get on board with it.
They will not be willing to accept what it truly is. So, sorry, but the access, once we blow the lid on everything, the access to information people have no choice but to find out. I'm really worried. People don't want to believe that we live in a corrupt world, and the very system we live in is designed to encourage corruption.
Yeah, but how do you wake them up to that, though, Matt?
One person at a time.
And if everybody's awake and aware,
Start putting up signs everywhere.
No, but how do you help those people that they have that Stockholm syndrome? How do you shake them out of that?
You literally start talking about, hey, you're going to start making your own choices. You're not going to be able to blame someone else for the shit that they do. Will they exploit you and then throw your money away?
Okay, healthy thought. So if you had 30 million people in this country that were aware, awake, and realize what's going on and want to change, this change still doesn't happen. How do you make the change?
You have to start the movement. You have to start creating a buzz about it, like literally putting shit on your front lawn. And
okay,
once you start doing that, you need masses. You can't just like all of a sudden start something and then you have to have the intent. That's why they run the shit. But they have the media. They can control whatever anybody sees.
Yes, bro, I understand what you're saying, but I just said if 30 million people in this country were aware of everything, that still doesn't change the system. How do you change the system?
With arrests. They have to be arrested.
Exactly.
Technically, yes.
Arrested. Absolutely,
yes,
they have to be.
Because transparency will, once we have absolute government transparency, we'll know everything that they were up to. There's like, so that's the whole thing. We need to own the government. We need to own the school system, which is all tied into the same thing. The police system. It's our system. We pay for these people to dictate our lives, and it's not for us. It's like I said earlier. It's the courts. We live in the king's court, and we are taxed. And the sheriff of Nottingham is gonna, if you don't pay the king's tax, they're gonna throw you in jail, or ostracize you, or make your life hard.
And just for the record, you're allowed to do a citizen's arrest naturally. Right now, every single person has the ability and the right to do that right now. You're allowed to do a citizen's arrest. Just saying.
I think the focus can't be on arresting people. We need, bad people, right? But we need everybody to be together as a nation first. There's no way we win anything if we are not united as a nation first over a province or a constituency.
That's going to be the hardest part.
A house divided will fall. I agree 100%. We have to be united. But then we have to, if the Canadian Mounted Police are in charge with the bounties, or in charge of arresting, and they're not doing their job, then they need to be busted too.
Well, are they arresting the corruption today?
If you're not for the people,
so again,
they're not focusing their energies where they best could be focused.
They need
the whole police force is not focusing their energy in the right spot.
They're generating
we need
revenue.
The police. We need the police. We need to force for a movement that the police need to pledge allegiance to the people and not the crown. That's treason. They're literally treasonous. Our system that governs us is treasonous to the people.
Yep.
Then you get 1 million people to go fucking arrest everybody.
Well, I think that if we get 20 million, because the population in Canada is 38 million, if we get 20 million, that's more than anybody has ever voted for in their system. So 55%, well, their highest vote ever participation was 54% by the population. Every other one has been under 50%. So in itself, their system is flawed, and we don't even participate in their system in enough volume. That's why they're always pushing, get the young people to vote. Get them out of school not knowing a damn thing, and they're like, oh, well, my parents are voting for this, so I'll vote for that. Like,
drop the voting age.
Didn't they want to change it? Didn't they want to change the voting age? They wanted to make it younger?
Yep.
Of course they would, but I don't know. Yeah. But they would. That makes sense.
You can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy beer, but you can change the direction of a country.
Yeah. I do actually think that some things that get voted in, like when they get into teenage years, I think they should have say. They're the ones that have to live in that shit. And I think that parents should be able to work with the kids and help. Look, kids are geniuses. There's some really fucking smart kids, and like no one ever utilizes the creativity of someone young. So it's
Totally agree.
The,
Like most
the
kids
world
today
is an
are smarter
oyster.
than
It's
the
just that we
average
don't know
adult.
it yet.
But if you think about a corporation, how a corporation is ran, a big wig,
Yeah,
top
let them
dog,
vote on school stuff.
a top dog of a corporation does not give a fuck about the people. All he wants is numbers and production, right?
Money.
So how many people are in the Senate? How many people are in the Parliament? How many politicians, essentially MPs all across the board? Not all, but they're all old as fuck. They're all dinosaurs.
Saying this, but
Hey,
They're-
did you hear about
politicians should not.
Feinstein? Not Feinstein. Pelosi. She wants to come back now. She's like what, 90?
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, being a politician should not be a real job. You should not be a politician as a career. That's not how it should be. If it's we the people for the people, you can't be a politician your whole life.
exactly. That's
I don't think we need politicians, though. That's the thing. That's why we keep
Well,
talking
we need
about
to
the
get
direct
rid of them.
democracy.
And we need to rewrite our constitution in a way that a person
Benefits
without a
the
lawyer's
people.
degree can actually understand.
Actually, some people are saying not even to rewrite, just write a new one.
Well,
Yeah,
agreed.
completely.
Totally
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm
that
sure there might
constitution
be
wasn't
some
written by
aspects
the
that
people in the first place. That constitution was written by what? The British?
colonizers.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
colonizers. And like, so we need to change our voting system so that we, as people, don't vote for a constituency or a representative in our area, and then it goes to our province, and then it goes to our parliament. Like, we need to vote individually as Canadians first, and after that national level is decided, then we can focus on the provincial. That will unite the provinces. I know as Canadians we've tried to unite the provinces before, and we've always failed. But
Yeah, well,
we're only
we're gonna
150
unite
years
the
old.
world. We're going to unite the
But-
world.
Yeah, that is the goal. That's the end game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not under a one world government. Not under.
Okay,
a
but
No,
let me
no,
ask you
it's
guys.
our world. It's your energy.
That's right. It's our world.
Let me ask
Yeah.
everybody except for Matthew, because I already know Matt's answer. But what are you guys doing? Are you guys talking to the people about direct democracy? Are you guys talking about? I mean, are you guys having these conversations or no?
Yep.
What I'm doing
Absolutely.
is showing people how corrupt our world is, pointing out patterns and things and events that have happened. And you can't if you slap people in the face with the truth with a fucking video or a picture, like, look, this happened from this level. Like, you can't ignore so many events in a row.
They'll
Like, you
say,
can't
what's
be
your
ignorant.
source?
What's my source?
That's what they'll say. What's your source? Oh, that's not a credible
Citations.
source.
Citations.
It's true. Oh, absolutely. And my
Yeah,
source is
I don't know how many times
individuals,
I've heard that.
individual people that have taken footage, and I have found it and been like, look, this person recorded this. This actually happened.
You have to be careful because AI can come up with stuff that you swear is real, and it's not.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. Too.
Absolutely. But you guys all realize it at a global level, right? Like, there's a group
Well,
of
I know
people
there's a
out
lot
there
of
doing
corruption.
nasty things.
There's a lot of corruption going on. That's for
But
That's
it's
true.
always gone on. They just hit
We
it a
have-
lot better
we have
before the
Canadians.
technology got advanced and we could do peer-to-peer sharing.
Has anybody ever tried using ChatGPT to write a constitution?
No, but that's a good idea. Let's see what it thinks.
It's a great fucking idea.
What's
Yep.
ChatGPT?
It's Google's AI through text.
Well, it's actually Elon Musk's.
Is okay.
Okay,
The only problem with that is you'd still have to make major amendments to it either way.
Well, yeah.
But it'll write the
And that's what
basis
I'm
for
saying.
you.
Yeah,
In
about the people.
the
for
way
the
to
people.
unite Canada is to define our core human values at a global level and apply that to our nation and say this is what we want. And
Yeah.
if you're a human
agree.
being, you will agree with it, right? Like, and ignore
Yes.
race, ignore religion, ignore sex, ignore gender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can believe and do what you want behind closed doors, but as a whole, it's going to be this way.
As long as no one's being hurt voluntarily.
Or
Involuntarily.
or molested or
Like, you can
groomed
focus on
or-
the little details after that, but you will not get anything by nitpicking at details.
Right. No, well, we have to, if we're going to make big change, we got to focus on a few things and just get that set up, and then the rest will fall in place.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
A movement of change.
So, Vice, I just wanted to respond to your question earlier, and I didn't realize I had my mic off there, so I was talking into the wind. But I was gonna say, like, ultimately, say the Constitutional Convention, okay? Like, say it absolutely doesn't work. Say you go way beyond that threshold and you get 90%, like crazy record levels of what the average Canadian is going to consider common sense. They participate in these nationwide constitutional conventions, and nobody recognizes it. It just goes whitewashed away, whatever, and nothing happens. So then, okay, what it then leans to is don't give up. You now have 50 or more % of the population that now is aware and loves the ideology behind all of us forming this new and better version of Canada equally together.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And expanding across the globe, right?
Good idea about how
so
to do
all
that.
I'm saying though is if you have that support, and I know people hate when we talk about beating the system within the system, but if we're forced to no choice but to do that process, you now have over 50% of the population. And again, if we implement it short term as a collective group of independents, no political parties, 338, we could even choose different numbers on that.
We are the people. It's not a party. It's just the people.
That's what I'm saying. Is all independents or whatever in the beginning, if you have to beat them in their system, you're absolutely, all of them are going to get voted in.
Donnie, we're not going back. We're not going back to their. We're going to leave their system behind. That stupid voting for individuals isn't going to need to happen anymore. You're not going to go join the Yahtzee government.
Yeah, I understand all that, Matt. And even if it's independent or a new political party, I'm saying solution to get to that point, though.
No, you can't join.
What's the solution to get to that point to implement it?
Fix it. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
You're not going to.
Okay, let's not go back to there again.
So if
no, but I'm trying to figure out where the solution is, though.
Okay, guys, wait a minute. Wait. Everybody take a deep breath. You're all talking over each other.
I'm calm as a cucumber or whatever you call it.
I just want to paint a picture here. So let's say if we get like 60-70% that say, yeah, we need direct democracy.
Yeah.
How's that going to play out, though? Like, are we going to, like, okay, put it this way. In the last Ontario election, 60% did not vote, but they still carried on like it was fucking democratic.
So we flip it. We flip that number. We tell everybody they can have true freedom.
But let's say if we do have that number. Let's say we have 75% for argument's sake. So we have 75% right across from coast to fucking coast that are in agreement that they want direct democracy. What is our next move?
Those are my questions.
We kick them all out. So we kick all these guys out running the shit.
If we have we could design an app that people could download and save. So here's what I think. To define
like 25
humanity.
million people tell them to get the fuck out.
One on time, guys. One time. Sorry,
I have an idea.
Yeah.
So if we define our line items, what are human rights? Most important to least important, and propose that to the people in whatever app, website, something online where people can go and use a number, aka probably our SIN number, to say, yes, I like this the best. This should be number one. Everybody gets to vote on all of the most important items, and the most popular item will go first on that constitution, and you can go down from there.
Can I just say something though? But we're already there. We've already agreed that 75% want a direct democracy. So now the 75%.
You can't do that. You have to say we the people.
Can I?
Okay, we the people, 75%. So what do we do next?
That it's done then.
No,
and if somebody wants to add a line item, they can propose it to the Constitution and people can vote on it.
No, but it's not, because you still have the
system in place.
Yeah.
So you think they're going to step down just because you said so? Are you kidding?
Can I speak?
Well, that's what I was just trying to explain as well. Is say we get to the Constitutional Convention level and they do not allow us to proceed so-called legally or lawfully as men and women of this land to form our form of government through peaceful constitutional conventions, through proclaiming that we are the people of these lands. If they stop us there, what's our only choice? Should we just give up and say, okay, well, let's not try and beat them at their system? That's all I was trying to say earlier is why give up? If there's 30 different ways that we can fight these fuckers to try and make changes, let's do 30 of them. Let's do 300 of them.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, I agree. You got
Hold on, Moon wants, guys, one at a time, please. Moon wants to say something.
Hi, thank you for having me. I just want to say a few things. I just want to add to what you were just talking about then, and also something what was previously said. When you were saying about the Constitution, about that we've only got to vote for certain people, and that's all we've got. Like we've got democracy and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
In the Constitution, it also says that if you've got a corrupt government, you can take them down. You literally do not have to have this government in play. The whole thing. I'm not talking about left and right. I'm talking about the whole thing, the whole shebang. You can take them out. You do not have to conform to the government, what you have, because you have a constitution in place to be for the people, elected for the people, by the people, right? So you literally can take them down. I don't know how you're going to go about that, like, but you can take them down. There is rules in your constitution, right? You literally have got a choice between shit and shit, right? So why choose shit and get rid of the shit, get it all out, and start again.
100%.
Start again from the bottom up. We need it for the people, by the people. It's the only way. These elites are ruling it. These elites are ruling it, and they are ruling it from the top down. They are ruling it from the top down. We need to get that out of the way because the majority of the people are at the bottom. So it needs to be from the bottom up, not from the top down. The top do not live in a society of reality. They live in fairylands and unicorns. We live in shit and hardship. They do not live in that. They don't understand that. So get rid of the elites, basically. Delete the elites. Whether you want to kill them or not, or just, be kind.
I know everybody's
whether
thinking
you want
it.
to do that or not is up to you, but you could literally just push them aside and say, look, we're not going to conform. We're not going to conform. And then they have to go, stamp the feet and go away. If everybody, including the the military and the bloody the police and all the rest of the little dogs what they've got who actually serve them, if they literally stand by the people, they have literally got nothing. So if the people say, you go away, I'm not conforming, go away, they have to stamp the feet and go and blow the noses and stamp away.
Or the military need to be on our side. There's no way you'll fix it without those two groups either.
The thing is, if you can wake up the military and the police, which they are doing, there is some they are waking up, then you've got a chance. And the thing is, the more they push back and the more they push on the people, then the military and the police, they've got family at home who are getting pushed back on. They're going to wake up.
Now,
So
can I say something, Moon? How about so I remember I was talking about the 75%, right? And how we change it. How about if the 75% are in agreement and they say, you know what, we're not participating in anything, jobs, voting, you name it, we're not participating at all. Do you think that the system's going to stand a chance?
It'll collapse, and it's got to collapse, right? To be fair, they're trying to collapse the system, right? They are doing this is a great reset. They want it to collapse so that they can rebuild it in their image. But we want it to collapse so we can rebuild it in our image, which is, they talk about a sustainable, society and green and all that type of stuff, but they don't mean that. They mean it in their image. That they mean that the elite benefit off that, and it doesn't actually help the environment. All it does is help their pockets in their banks. But we should be rebuilding our society in an actual sustainable development, where we are literally living off the land in symbiosis resources with each other. We could have energy efficient houses, homes, all the rest of it, which are not these these electric cars are bullshit. All the rest of it is bullshit. But you can literally, you know, we can harness the rain, we can filter it, we can have earth on the top of our houses to heat our homes. We can have solar panels.
I get Moon. Moon, I know exactly what you're saying. I get it.
She's literally saying what I said all earlier. That's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear
She was
you.
listening to you, Matt.
I was literally like, I've only just come on, so I didn't
No,
hear
it's
you
awesome.
before. I'm sorry,
I have
I'm
the
repeating
biggest
stuff.
smile on my face right now. It's really nice hearing similar things.
But those are ideas, not solutions.
Yeah, a lot of people want the same solutions, so we just need to work together towards them.
I think the solution is going to be the voice gets louder, and then eventually, if you get enough people, then you're going to have to stop participating. Period, so that it collapses, and then you could pretty much say, okay, we're going to start it in our way, in our own way.
Well,
I think that if the collapse is going to come, right? And because people in general, this is what I think they are relying on. We rely on the system to come and fix things. They're relying on us to go, oh, the government swoops in, whether they delete the power or whatever they do to us. And then they swoop in and say, here I come to save the day. And then we go, oh, thank you. Thank you for saving the day. And we all like conform. But if we don't, we go, hang on a minute, we've got a setup here and we're all doing it fine ourselves. Like, we don't actually need you. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be setting up like gardens and shit like that. Like if you're in the city or whatever, you know, communal gardens where we don't need to rely on this government to swoop in with its little cape and try to save us. And then we can say like, do you know what? Go away,
Hey,
you little fly.
Hey, Moon, let me ask you something. Are you spreading the word? Where are you, in England?
I'm in the UK. Yeah, I've been an activist for like many years now.
Nice.
2015 was when I started being an activist.
Right on.
I was making stuff before that, but
do you know Anonymous One? Anonymous London?
I'm not sure. I know a few. I know a few anonymouses. I'm on a few lives.
Why?
Certain anonymouses. I don't know which ones. What?
Well, no. He's on TikTok. He does a lot of videos. I haven't seen him lately, but he's one guy that you should follow, because he's pretty much on the same page.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll check him out. If I might already be on that because I have been on a few anonymous lives. I've been on yours, Matt, and thank you for having me. And I don't know what bullet time.
Thank you for speaking what we all think. Yeah.
Moon, I got a question for you. Do you know anyone from Dark City Radio based out of the UK? Bob's Backyard.
I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. You just, again, like how you're saying, the Anonymous, this is a group that if you were involved in activism, they're based out of there. They're even like making their own, they made their own smelt, and they're like making their own precious metals, and we're not making them, but like melting them. It's pretty cool. They're making their own coins.
Oh, please, if you could give me a link. I've got you. I don't know if you got me as a following me, but yeah, if you send me a link, I will get involved with that because that's awesome. The things what I'm involved in is all the EMF stuff and also the natural herbal therapy stuff. So sorry, I need to just clear my throat.
Canada's land has enough resources to support itself. We can have our own refineries and factories and smelters. We can support ourselves and help other people after we fix ourselves.
I've said this all along, right? Basically, what we have to do is we have to create an alternative system to the system that we've already got, right? So we've got to create an alternative healthcare, an alternative teaching thing, schooling. We've got to create an alternative everything, every single thing that we've got already, because otherwise the people will not want to join us, right? We can't just say, oh, we want to live in the woods and live off dirt and, like fend for ourselves. They're just going to go, oh, that's horrible. I'm never going to want to do that. No. But if we go, we've got this healthcare system, we've got this, we've got the teaching system, we've got this, we've got that. they're going to come, they're going to see us do it. We've got to have it set up. We can't just talk about it. We've got to have it set up. And there are people doing it. It's already in place. We've just got to make it more known and more widespread. And then people will look and they will say, wow, yeah, that's a better system than what I've already got. We've got to give them a better system. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then they will reject the system what's already in place.
I agree. 100% agree. And that's on a global scale. That's not just Canada. That's not just now.
Everywhere.
We need the support of other countries to do what we want to do too.
Right.
Yeah, because they're in the same boat.
Sorry.
No, they're in the same boat, right? A lot of pretty much all countries are in the same fucking boat right now.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'll say one last thing and then I'll mute myself. Basically, the ecosystems that like little communities have are great and everything. They've got like the basics. So we've got to build on that, right? So look at your little ecosystem that lives next door to you, that's not that far from you, and build on that. Like they have got like, the toilets that use the composting toilets and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's building.
How much cleaner would that make our water? It would make our water so much cleaner instead of having a sewage facility that dumps its excrement into the nearest river.
Trillions
and then
of
they have to
litres.
do chemicals to treat it, and then you look at the pipe.
They don't,
the pipe
they don't use
system's horrible.
chemicals. They don't use chemicals for that reason. There's a whole
No,
other
they
reason
don't.
they're
I'm
using
talking
chemicals.
about the system. The system do. I'm talking about the system.
No,
What we've
they're
got. Use
fluoridating us and
chemicals.
giving us bromine and chlorine.
Ooh, bromine. Ew.
Yeah. It's what they use in pools. They get lots of it in the city water because they drain all the city pools into the waterways.
Okay, Ice King Winter. Ice King. No offense, but political parties are passe, man. That's a failure option. Sorry, dude.
Have a mod that monitors your room right now? Because I don't talk that much, but I can do that.
No, it's okay. I've got a few already.
Okay,
I
good.
appreciate that, though. I appreciate that.
Hey, anything I can do to help, you let me know.
No problem. Yes,
I actually
Leo,
feel
I
like
agree.
we got somewhere tonight. Sorry, Alice.
No, it's okay, Harley. Go ahead.
No, I actually feel like we actually somehow managed to get somewhere tonight.
Okay, but I want to ask Vice Grip something. So, Vice Grips, do you think that if 70, I'm just using a fucking number here, right? But let's say if 75 or 70 to 75% of the people say, you know what, we've had enough of the system. We want direct democracy. And they said, okay, well, you know what, we're not going to participate in the system any longer. You think that is a way of getting in?
Well, we're getting out of the system while getting in, right?
No, sorry. What I meant was getting out of the system so that that system collapses, and then basically we could build a new
It doesn't need to collapse, though, guys. I'm sorry to interject, but it doesn't need to collapse. We just need to convert.
Matt, how do you get rid of those elites, though?
Well, here's the thing, though, right?
We
Now-
remove them. We tell them they're
Okay.
fired. Pull a Donald Trump on them and say your ass
Elites
is
are not
fired. Get the
Canadian.
fuck out.
The elites are global.
No, you're
We
right.
don't
But we do have
conform,
elites here,
right?
though.
We don't, guys. We don't conform. We literally set up our own systems outside the system. So that is a way to get rid of the
It's
elite.
two ways. One of two ways. But I think that what we're going to need to see is we're going to need to go into their system, tell them that we're done with their system, and fire them all. And then we restructure it all completely into what we want it to be. Rather, like, it doesn't make sense to just leave it all behind because there's been a lot of work done. So, like, there is value in what type of resource management and stuff, but it all needs to change because it was based on profit because we live in a form of capitalism.
But do you think that we need the military, though?
If we do this thing worldwide,
Just for the elites. Just for the elites. We need the military to turn on the elites
Exactly.
and not
It's for the
us.
bankers. Military
Well,
is
if you
for the
have the
bankers.
military, I feel a lot better then.
No, if you had right, listen, military is meant to be a protection from a threat, right? So
That's right.
I was in the military. I left school and joined the military. Right? I was in there for only 2 years. I didn't go to war or anything like that. But I was taught a lot, and I was in the cadets for 4 years before that, right? So basically, the military teaches you to deal with threats. It's about deal. Sorry,
Threat
I
assessment.
have had
Threat
a little
assessment.
drink tonight, so I might be slurring my words a little bit, but
Mine next time.
it's like 20 to 4 in the morning here in Liverpool. But yeah. So anyway, the military is there to deal with threats, and we basically have a threat at us now, and our threat is the government, who is not even the government, it's the people behind the government, but the people who are governing us, right? They are our threat. They are threatening our lives, our society, and our way of life, and they are trying to bring us into this technocracy, right? So
That's right.
they are basically trying to change our way of life to fit in with theirs, to have this digital currency, digital ID, social credit system, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And they are trying to change our way of life so we are all monitored, tagged, labeled, and the rest of it. So we're like a little bit of meat. Basically, they've brought modern slavery into our actual visualization, because we are becoming actual slaves. We thought we wasn't slaves, but we was originally, but we didn't know that. We was living in an illusion before, but now the illusion has been broken, and now it's coming real. It's in your face. So now we've got to say, because we are the masses. That's what we call the masses. We amass these elite, these small little tiny microbes of people that are actually controlling us through fear and the military. And if you look at the military and look at the police force in comparison to us, the people, they are still a minute little bug on the horizon of the majority of the rest of us. So we have to stand together. We've got to awaken the masses, and it's happening. It is happening, and it's been a massive awakening since 2015 that I've seen anyway. And we've got to stand together, and if we don't stand together, then we are going to have to eat the bugs. And
I agree.
I've not been be happy.
We just got to get the military on our side.
Yeah.
But if we
Okay,
have
before we go any further, I've got something important you guys need to know about, and that's that we're being watched, and there are bots and other things out there that screen record this and that will make propaganda and hate speech and post it as
I don't
online.
care anymore.
So I don't care either, but
We
it will
already
get
know
taken down
that.
at some point.
Yeah.
So we need a safe space to do this kind of thing
No,
that we
wanna
can
do
tell
it right
other
in the
people
public.
about.
The safest
There
places
is
in
no
the public.
safe space on
Yes.
the media that they present us, right? We can pretend that there is, but there isn't. There's places
Agreed.
where we feel that they are not as in there. But
So
really,
how do we create
realistically,
that?
we're literally using the platforms they give us. So at the end of the day, we've just got to be strong, because they can't get us all. They can't. Well,
So as the
they can
solution
try.
for now, we just continue to create new accounts as they get
The
deleted.
more that they push back, right, the more that they push us into a corner, the more that the people wake up. So, we've just got to keep doing what we do. And we're like whack-a-mole, right? When they
Yeah.
whack us down, another one of us pops up again. Literally, we've got to do that. We've literally got to be
Okay.
whack-a-mole.
You can't back off. You just got to keep going.
Well, I wasn't saying back off. I was just saying maybe there's a better place other than TikTok.
I
But
would love
If
there
but
to
it's like
be.
Canadian
You know what,
loyalist
Phil,
says,
Phil,
if there's
you
30 or
make
300
yourself
ways
a
to do
bigger
something,
target,
let's do
though.
them all.
Yeah, but fellow human, you make yourself a bigger target though now, because now you're trying to hide it,
Yeah.
and now you
Well-
make yourself more suspicious.
Well, I got a question. I got a question. If a growing concern and threat faces the government right now, do you not think that they would shut down the internet, electricity, and power?
Coming, guys.
Yes.
No,
It's coming.
there's a shift, right?
All
There's
right,
a
so
shift happening, and they've got to tell the truth.
1 second there. One
So-
second, Maroon. 1 second.
Sorry.
So, do you guys remember, like, maybe through videos and movies and shit back in the day, 1800s, let's say, if there was a bad person in town, the entire
This is
town
exactly what I'm worried about.
would get pitchforks and go chase those people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Media. It was
Mass,
media.
it's called mass psychosis.
So,
Media.
now, our military in Canada is pathetic. It's like 30, 40,000, including reserves. It's pretty shitty. We had more people at the trucker convoy, I think, than we had in our whole military, to be honest. But forgive me for what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to try and say it. Now, in America, the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms for the sake of a tyrannical government, and they could take it over.
They don't.
Right?
They don't need them anymore, though. They
No,
don't
but
even
that's
need
the reason. That's the reason
military
behind.
has
That's,
two
listen,
energy
dude,
weapons.
listen. That's the reason behind it all. That's why they have it. Is for the sake of a tyrannical government. It's not happening. They're not doing it. They're not trying to take it over. Whatever. I think if you had 75% of the people, Alice, 75% of the people as a potential militia to arrest people and remove people from office, and then you could place your people in that position, I think you would have a chance. But you need a massive amount of people to be able to make a movement like that.
Over half the population.
So the people is more than all the men, right?
And then that would set a record and a trendsetter for around the world, and the whole world might do it, right? And then the whole
think they'll do it all at
the
the
whole
same
system
time.
will fucking be gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it has to be a coup. It has to be a coup. Unfortunately, there's going to be some evil done. There's no way you're going to just ask
Not
permission.
if we have the masses. Not if we have 75% of the population of the world.
Can I just say, Matt? I don't think you need 75. I think it's
75 is realistic.
It's a tipping scale.
50 is
Yeah, we literally
maximum.
just need a fraction of over
One at a time,
I
guys.
can't remember the percentage of what it is, but it's not even 75%. But yeah, you're right. We need a majority, basically.
I just want to say real quickly, again, through constitutional conventions, you cannot be classified a domestic terrorist or anything like that. It's 100% peaceful, and it's basically constitutional in the creation of your new constitution, and it's what we, the people, decide to pass those thresholds, and whether it be 51% or 75%, myself personally, like I said earlier, for me, it would be at least 51% of that voting population, but again, you cannot be labeled anything because you're doing it through a lawful process.
Yeah, but Donnie, let me ask you this, Donnie.
If your government is tyrannical, though, right? And your constitution tells you that you have to take down a tyrannical government, then you are actually not doing anything against the constitution. You're actually withstanding the constitution by standing up to a tyrannical government, because that's why the constitution was put in place, for governments to come out of power. See, I'm all for anarchy, right? Anarchy means no rulers, no slaves. People think anarchy means that all hell breaks loose and everyone goes crazy. No, there is still the rule of you do not kill, you do not steal, you do not hurt, you do not harm, all that type of stuff. But anarchy also means you do not have no rulers, no slaves. Monarchy is you have one ruler and you go for that, which is the king or queen. And then you've got oligarchy, which is what presidency and things like that is, where we have many rulers who tell us all these things to do and all that stuff. But we've got these things in place which tell us that we have rights to stand up to it. We've got our inalienable rights as being sovereign human beings on this earth, who were living, breathing humans, and we've also got rights within this maritime law system. If you know your stuff, then you can.
So just a quick question, Moon. Who is going to enforce those human rights, international rights that we have?
We have to, the people. So it's got to be en masse, because if one person bobs up and says, I've got a right, then they'll just whack you down, like literally whack-a-mole. They'll literally whack you down and you'll be gone. So it's got to be en masse, and I'm not talking about even 100 people. It's got to be en masse, like
we
literally.
have to also watch. Deranged people will try to join it to make it look bad. That's what's happened on every movement I've noticed. So
they pay people.
We need to cancel anybody that makes a bad impression on what we're trying to do.
So let's just say, for conversation, like Alice said earlier, we say we got 75% of the voting population to participate in these constitutional conventions, and the tyrannical governments send in the troops and whichever and try to label us all and charge us all at that level. I don't know how they would do it to begin with. But then what's to stop a foreign governing body or a foreign government from coming in to assist the corrupt government in place to squash the movement?
That's right.
That is actually what's happening, right? In the UK, we've got, right, they call it what's it called? Refugees and things like that, what are coming in. When you look at these people that are coming in, they're all military-aged men. They're all being positioned around the UK, right? They've got the military haircuts, they've got phones, and they've got good clothes and that, and they've literally supposedly come off the boats. These are what we've been told with different different authorities have been told us that they're literally UN soldiers, right? So they're being positioned all over the UK. I'm not saying it's happening elsewhere, but all I know is it's happening in the UK. And I know personally, not everyone knows here, but I know that if something goes down, whether it's they want to pass out the new curriculum of things what they want to stick in your arm, or whether they want to lock down society, or whatever they want to do, that they will do that.
Moon, just keep it short, please. Just keep it short.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
I know. Well, you gotta try.
Your beauty. It's right on.
Sorry, I've got a lot to say.
Man, you would make a really good lawyer.
I just need them like numbers before my name, letters.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Moon, we see your passion.
The UN has like 5 million soldiers, so they would back them, right? So if, let's say hypothetically, guys, let's just say hypothetically that there was a planted UN bunch of people, and they came and they started using guns to control the population. Are you gonna just submit, or are you gonna?
That's already happened. That happened in Australia with
guns. They control everything. Our food, our everything, guys.
Thank you.
The guns are insignificant to the tactics that they can have. They can literally spike your friggin' vitamins. They can do anything, like anything that you can imagine. They could use to cancel you.
Can I say something? I'll try to keep it short.
Who's making bets here? I'm gonna give 5 minutes.
No. I'll try to do 30 seconds, right?
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Don't count me in until I start. Like,
no pressure.
When you said about who's gonna, who's gonna say, do something if they come with guns and stuff like that. I've already had this conversation with my partner, and I've decided that, like, if they come with guns, I know it sounds bad, this and stuff, but I'd rather be shot than them stick something in me or put me into a FEMA camp or whatever.
Yeah, so they're like, either way, I'm gonna stick something in you. Bend over.
Yeah,
So this is another way to look at it as well, okay? Say it doesn't go that way, and after the Constitutional Convention, say, like Alice said, 75% even of the population vote that, we get, say, the United States, other nations and stuff like that, that are going to recognize that constitutional convention that was held and got the majority of the people, then you actually have backing of other nations that are going to step in democratically, whatever, in these organizations like the UN and NATO.
Democratically. Stop the going back to their fucking system, Donnie. Stop it.
You
Would
think
you
Joe
two go to
Biden's
your
gonna help
separate
you?
corners
Stop
already?
Joe Biden ain't helping you. I'm telling you that right now.
Joe Biden ain't
I didn't say that. I'm just saying,
You said America.
in that process to get recognized.
Demon crazy. No, I'm done with the evil, picking in the lesser of two evil. They're demon crazy. Fuck it. We don't need democracy.
Yes,
Nope.
I agree. Anarchy.
No,
No ruler, no
direct
slave.
pure democracy.
No ruler, no slave.
Well, all I'll say is when you folks can get 6 billion people on board worldwide and we're in the rebuilding stage, I will participate with all my heart.
All right. Well, we got a lot of work to do, guys.
Yeah.
Can I just add this
right
one
now.
thing
You
about
got to
anarchy,
participate right
right?
now.
Can I just add this one thing about anarchy, right?
No.
Anarchy does not mean that you don't have rules as well. You can literally have a system informed in anarchy.
Yes, and everybody in this room is aware of that.
It's a voluntary system.
Look at Alice's name.
Alice has been beating that into our head for months.
Look
sorry,
beside his
I
name.
didn't know that.
Look at beside his name. What does that symbol mean?
What does what mean? Sorry.
The symbol beside Alice's name. You think that's for the letter A?
Where's Alice?
It's not
The
for
At
host.
the very top of the screen.
Yeah,
Alice
it's not
is
for,
the host.
yeah,
Look
it's
at
not
the
for
Oh my
us.
god, I need glasses. I can't even read that. What does it say?
Click on it. Look, it'll get bigger for you.
No,
His profile picture. There you go.
Makes me it just makes me pay money.
What's that symbol?
That is that's the anarchy symbol.
That's
sort
his.
of.
That's
my symbol.
That's what's on his name. Like not on his name. Sorry.
That's my symbol,
his
man.
logo. How mine is like that blue thing. His is that.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. That's cool.
I'm an anarchist, Moon. I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, anarchy
I'm
is
just
not
an
what people think it is. It's not everyone riots.
I agree.
It means no
It's not
ruler, no
chaos.
slave.
Yeah. No.
But
So
the most
you can
important
still
thing
have
we
a
can do
system. You can
moving
still have
forward.
a hierarchy. You can still have a hierarchy. You've just got to have it. It's got to be
No
voluntary.
We have to face the problem at hand right now, and
Anytime
that
you have a
problem is
hierarchy,
unity.
Someone can always be above you.
Right? We need
Now,
unity.
anarchy-
That's the only thing that's going to save anything is unity. So we have to do that.
Can I read the definition of anarchy to you guys?
Go on.
A state of disorder due to absence of non-recognition of authority or controlling system. So I think that we should go more with a direct democracy.
Yeah, but Matt, there's different definitions, Matt.
There
I
is
know.
because I'm
Political
looking into
word.
more
You cannot
voluntarism.
make it political.
Voluntarism is a bit more different because basically you can literally volunteer in a society. Say you have a little community and you can literally volunteer.
That is another version of it
And
too.
everyone has to. Is it like a democracy
It's
within
a voluntary
a
cooperation
system?
is what it's called.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just no rulers, no
Doesn't
masters.
matter.
Matt.
We just
Well, you
need
don't have a
everybody to
ruler and a
understand what's
master.
going on.
And
We
it's
have to
not
do together
corruption. You can literally throw them out if they are going to do something bad to you. Whereas now we think that we've got the illusion that we can throw them out, but we can't because we literally put someone else in place who's corrupt.
So
No
what do
matter
we
what.
take away from tonight?
Take them all out. Take all the top guys out. Bye-bye. Get the fuck out.
Unity.
You're fired.
Unity.
Get the fuck out of the office.
Yes,
now.
unity, spread the word, and wake people up.
I got my next thing. I'm gonna say, hey, we're running this shit. Justin Trudeau, you're fired. Get the fuck
Matthew,
out.
are you listening to me at all?
Fired is right.
Do I have to start yelling at you like I do to Alice?
Step into my office.
You're
'cause
gonna
you're
start
agree,
yelling
Matt.
at me. I'll just tune you out.
Justin
like
Trudeau
Yeah, I know
needs to
you're
go.
tuning me out.
Justin Trudeau needs to go.
has got to go.
They all have to go,
Guys
not
think
just
I'm
the
bad. You
Bronx.
guys don't want to get you guys.
You
Hang on,
still
guys.
need unity. You need
You
unity
guys-
more than that. You can't focus on a negative. You have to pick a positive for everybody to come towards and have that hope and that
The
energy
positive
inside
is
themselves.
going. Him
Yeah,
going
they
is
all need to be
positive.
fired. I'm sorry, some negative shit's gonna have to come with this. They gotta be fired.
No,
I know.
it's positive. If he goes, it's positive.
It's gonna be hard.
It's what they replace him with. Then we've just got to like get rid of the system. Basically, that's the positive.
Well, maybe he needs to go skiing like his brother.
Everything below the top end is really good.
Okay,
Ski
Moon,
down a
thank
hole.
you. Moon, thank you for coming. I'm going to start because I'm going to start winding this down. But I appreciate you, Moon. You've got a lot of energy, though. I got to say.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me up.
She's good.
Got a
She's
lot of
good.
passion.
Yeah.
She does.
She reminds me of myself. She's like my.
You mean the
You know
talking
what,
with
Matt?
the breathing?
I didn't say anything earlier because I didn't want it to come out the wrong way, but I was gonna joke and say, you know what? I think she's the female version of Matt, and then I was gonna say, but I'm saying that on a positive note.
Sorry, fellow human. I'm
What's
just
that
winding it down,
supposed
buddy.
to mean?
But you're more than welcome to come back next time. For another time.
Next time. Who? Who's going for next time?
No, I just said he can come back for the next time. I'm just winding it down now.
Okay.
I'm just trying to calm you guys down a little bit. You guys are all a little excited tonight.
Good luck with that. I'm gonna go up and like probably go to someone's live that's a liberal and yell at them.
I'm sorry, Moon. I don't. For next time, you're more than welcome to come back next time. Don't take it personal, please.
Time to smoke a joint.
Take it personal. He's doing it on purpose.
And I enjoyed listening to you, Moon. You had some good points.
Matthew? Matthew?
That sounds just
You will
like
have
how
me
my
yelling
boy-
at you too.
Mommy,
Yeah.
is that you?
Yeah, that's exactly. Here, you little shit.
Bite me.
That my grandma used to say that to me. You little shit. And,
Troublemaker.
I'd wait around the corner and I'd scare the shit out of her, almost give her a heart attack.
You little shit.
Yeah, that was you little shit. All right, well I'm gonna drop out. Have a good night, everyone.
Nice.
All right,
Have a good night, Matt.
Amazing
too. See ya,
discussion,
buddy.
Alice. You should seriously go through some of this live, and you got some pretty good content you could re-upload. You don't even have to worry about, just do a bit of a screen record, maybe put a little music in the background, start replaying some of your lives if you wanted to. Of course, just a suggestion. Do your own shit.
I might. We'll see.
Yeah, don't put in the coup because I don't want to get arrested.
No, put it all in. Fucking put it in everybody's face.
We're gonna highlight. We're gonna highlight what Vice Script says, or we're gonna put them on the big screen.
Yeah. Well, make sure you give a copy of what Vice Grips was saying to Butters and TikTok scientists as well.
You know what? You guys know that they come in here.
Scientist.
You know that they come in here purposely to try to trigger everyone, just so they can record content.
Oh yeah.
I think that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
definitely.
come on, guys. We should do the same, just for like on a Friday night, like when everybody's like, when the people who are like having a few drinks and want to let their demons out. We could totally pull the same shit with them and just turn it into a total joke. Like make it
But,
actually funny.
Hey, Matt.
Instead of
have you
malicious
noticed-
like how they do.
We don't need to lower ourselves to their level.
No,
I
but
agree
I'm
with Donnie
saying doing
too.
the
But you know what,
reverse.
Donnie? It is fun though. It is fun though.
Doing
Hey,
the
Matt.
reverse though. I'm saying the
Matt,
I didn't
reverse.
say I won't enjoy watching you guys do it.
Yeah, Matt.
Make it funny.
Matt.
Make them laugh.
Matthew.
Hey, Matt. Matt. Let me.
Hey.
Okay. Do you ever notice how Butters comes in here and he'll say something to agree with you, but he's just fucking luring you in. He's trying to lure you in so that he could just fucking basically try to shut
It's
you
a
down.
bait and switch. It's bait and switch.
Bait and
We
switch. Yeah.
almost
So
had
he'll-
a night without his name.
Yes. Nobody will say something. Nobody will say something to agree with you. Like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden he just turns 360. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
I
buddy, you
think
gotta
he's
wake up pretty early
bipolar.
in the fucking morning.
I think he's bipolar, but that can mean a bunch of different things. But I don't think it's like a disorder. I think it's just like one minute he's happy and one minute he's Butters.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
That's a split personality.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, man.
Well, I don't
have
want
fun
to go
with
to
them,
Guantanamo Bay, so let's go get some liberals.
All right. Well. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, see you, man.
Good night.
Have a good night, Mike.
How the fuck did I get out?
I just have to wind it down a little bit.
Yeah, and Donnie, for you there, I know what you said earlier about being labeled and classified as a terrorist. They could do that to anybody for anything without any legal representation, no lawyer, no court case. You're gone to Guantanamo, and you are gone, and nobody hears from you ever again. You opposing the government and trying to talk about changing and altering the government, that could be seen as a threat, and that could be terrorist thinking. So even you coming up with an idea of potentially changing government could categorize you and label you and have you sent away. Like, that's how fucked the system is.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct.
They could
That's
charge you
one of the
every
reasons
single
why I said that.
We could all probably go to jail tonight for just this fucking live. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
it's stupid.
And you know what? I think it was Alice that said earlier, that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason why it has to be public. I think Matt was saying that as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's harder to take all of
peaceful.
us down as one group.
Yeah, it's got to be peaceful, guys. Because if you start using, the C word, that's exactly what they want you to say.
Yeah. No, no violence. It's got to be peaceful.
And you can't threaten them either. You can't threaten politicians. That's the worst fucking thing you could do, man.
Well, it's a one-way road to hell.
Crybabies.
It is. What's that, Roxy?
I said, for one, they're the biggest fucking crybabies.
Yep.
I just say it from a realistic point of view. I just don't feel in my heart and soul. I do not feel that the system is going to come down just by fucking telling them to. It's not going to happen. It has to be the bad way, unfortunately. Other than that, we'll wait 20, 30 years and see that it doesn't happen. I'm going to record this session and say in 20 years from now, we're still talking about it because nothing's being done.
I don't think we've got 20 years. I don't even think we have 2 years.
Exactly. So that's what I'm
Whether
saying.
we like it or not, there's going to be some major changes either which way direction it takes well before 20 years. I agree.
And our election is in 2025, and I think Trudeau's quickly ruining us as fast as he can before then.
You know what? We could blame Trudeau. It's the whole system.
No,
that's
I
been
realize that.
We've just been blinded. We've been blinded by the system.
And everybody should have been woken up for what happened in the House of Commons a few days ago.
Yep.
If that happened 75 to 90 years ago, there would have been barrels of maple syrup and geese feathers waiting for them to come outside.
Well, I think a couple of veterans might have did a few more than just some fucking tar feathers.
Yeah, we'll stick with the feathers and maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a waste of maple syrup.
Sometimes I talk in code. Just go with it.
I knew what you meant.
And then Butters would be there licking it off of him.
Oh.
Tar's not threatening, though, Donnie.
What's that, sorry?
I said tar's not threatening.
If it's hot, it is.
What?
Did you ever try to get it off?
If we're going to go more historically correct, we'd have to start off most likely with molasses.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you were going to say, the Catherine wheel or the Iron Maiden,
If you're covered in molasses and sat on an anthill, it could hurt.
Hey, there's some parts of Canada you get doused in maple syrup and you might be in some trouble. And not from wildlife.
Shit, I did that last night.
You don't waste maple
Donnie,
syrup.
that's a Saturday night.
I was just going to say, I think I'm getting tired.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
It's all good. This is when it gets fun, right?
Oh, shit.
You gotta be able to laugh once in a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I seen anybody with a barrel of maple syrup getting ready to pour it on the ground, I don't know. I'd be one of those fools like diving 12 feet across the grounds with a cup in my hand and my mouth open.
That's a sacrilege.
It is, man. It's actually maple syrup is better than gold.
God, yes.
Yeah.
For a Canadian?
Fucking right.
Gold's nice, but I don't know. I'm
can't
pretty
eat
damn
gold.
sure it don't taste nothing like maple syrup.
Exactly. You can't eat it.
That's right. Although you could trade it for a shitload of maple syrup.
Yeah, that's true too. This is true.
As long as the entrail ends back to the syrup, process doesn't matter.
All roads lead to syrup.
That's right.
Or pineapple on your pizza. I'm still eating the pizza. I
Now
bought
we're talking,
yesterday.
Avery.
Avery,
Now we're talking.
you and I are gonna. I'm calling you, girl.
Have you had
changed
hot
everything.
peppers? Hot
We've
peppers with
changed
pineapple pizza.
I've tried that too, and I just
That might
got.
kill the taste, Donnie.
I got the pineapple, the
Here's
what do you
Dino.
call it, pastrami or whatever, and olive. No, what do you call it? Mushrooms. So
Nice.
I've been having it since last night, so I've been eating it through the day. So that's nice.
You know who I bet has some really, 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 really amazing old family recipes?
Who?
That guy there with that big A symbol with a circle around it?
Yeah.
Donnie,
don't
don't
go for
ask
him, man.
him.
He's Roxy is more of Italian than he is.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Forget about it.
We're
Forget
talking
about it.
like my staple food, eh?
That's right. You can't beat it.
And
Oh.
and I see you like pineapple too.
Absolutely, yes.
Speaking of cannelloni, I'm gonna go get some.
You gonna get the,
That would be
you gonna
good
get the
right now.
ricotta or the meat?
Some meat.
The meat.
Let mama feed you. All right, I'm plugging out. I'm gonna go get high. Forget this day.
Good night.
All right, Vice.
Okay, man.
Have
See
yourself
ya.
a good night, man.
Take it
Night,
easy.
Vice.
Night, buddy.
Good
Bye.
night.
I'm just looking at these videos out of the States, and they're showing different cities, man. It's, they talk about anarchy being chaos. No, chaos is chaos. And chaos is happening in the States right now. It's
Like
really
right now, they're
fucking bad.
breaking windows in stores and just looting stuff.
That's sad.
Yes.
Where's that? In New York?
Chicago,
Chicago,
Philadelphia.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
New
What's
York's-
going on with the New York and all the flooding or whatever has been going
I
on
saw
there?
videos of their transit system, their RTTC, being all flooded in the basement where they get the trains.
Was that like after effects from like a hurricane or something that brought the water into the city or something? From rain.
I just see I saw a video of all these streets flooded, the subway flooded, but I don't know what caused it. I haven't heard that yet.
I think it's
JFK
just
Airport
rain.
was shut down.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
airport.
smokes.
Yeah, I think
Just
it's
from that
rain.
much rain. Wow.
Yeah. It's been raining
Well,
for over a
it was
week.
torrential rain really fast, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, I guess like especially in the big cities, I guess if you got torrential rain for like a week straight, that's going to overwhelm the drainage systems within the city, right? Because they don't have the green infrastructure to absorb a bunch of that water.
No.
Yeah.
They're saying that New York is, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's sinking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I've heard that too. Certain parts of it. Didn't they build a big chunk of it on like basically back in the day with basically garbage, old ships, whatever they could find?
Probably.
Yep. They
we did
expanded
that.
the land with garbage.
We did that here in Toronto too. We built a park.
Very
out of-
correct.
With garbage, and now it's got like some of the it's got wildlife there. It's like there's birds that go there that are not indigenous to this fucking land.
Well, even is it Centennial Park there, right on the border of Etobicoke and Mississauga?
Yes. Yes.
Wasn't that an old garbage dump too?
Yes, Centennial Park was a garbage dump, and now it's slush green,
Yeah.
so to speak.
And the main old big pile That's the part that they turned into the ski hill, isn't it?
That's right.
Oh, okay. I used to live not far from there. I used to walk the dog there every day.
Yep. I mean, it used to be, well, I mean, I'm not much of a city guy anymore, but it was a nice area once upon a time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they used to have all kinds of really big family events and stuff there, and
yeah, it's just too many people now, right?
well, exactly.
That the whole GTA fuck.
Well, I remember as a little kid, like I'm not that old. I'm like 46, and I remember as a kid going through. Well, Mississauga was kind of like going through the farmlands around Newmarket and between Newmarket and Barrie. There was a whole bunch of farmlands, and now it's other than the sign, you wouldn't know that you were outside of the area until you came close to the Hamilton Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, Highway 9 is still. If you drive down Highway 9, which takes you from Newmarket all the way up to Orangeville.
Yep.
It's still pretty green.
Yeah.
It's still pretty green, but
even look at the King City area.
Oh yeah, that's well, King City's well, it's a rich man's.
Oh yeah.
Rich man's area, right?
Well, now it is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But the Vaughan area, holy fuck! If you, I don't know, when's the last time you've been in the GTA?
I was down there last year, but before that, it was like, geez, like 8 years or whatever.
Okay, have you been to Vaughan?
To the well, I went to Bass Pro. Or it's not Bass Pro anymore, right? It's is it still Bass Pro?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, but I know what you're talking about, though, off the 400.
Yeah, I went to the other one that was in Barrie, and then the one that was at the Vaughan Mills.
Yes, I think Vaughan Mills.
You're talking about Cabela's.
Cabela's.
The one in Barrie is Cabela's.
Cabela's,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyways, that Vaughan Woodbridge about 10 years ago was there really not much to look at. If you look at it now it's got a subway system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The TTC is all the way up in Vaughan. It goes all the way up to, I think, Jane and Highway 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's developed. Like, you won't even recognize it. I used to hang out there, like, in my 20s, and now I go back there, not by choice, but when I do go back there, it's all condos and
yeah.
Highway 7 is like, I think Highway 7 is like 6 lanes now, and then it's got the subway rail in the middle.
You know the station that they were, well, right there at Highway 7, just north of it, just past Highway 7, they were building the station when they first started to expand it there. That's when I was living there, and that I actually had a contract I was working on a house that was like 5-minute walk from the train station they were building. To give you an idea when I was working in that area last.
Okay. Yeah. So that I think there's a Metrolinx and there's a TTC. I think they're in. No, is it? No, not Metrolinx. Whatever the subway system is for Vaughan. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's man, it's really fucking developed. Like it kind of reminds me of Mississauga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, when we first moved, we moved from North York to Mississauga, and they were just in the process of finalizing the final touches on the Marilyn Monroe buildings.
That's right.
Or at least I think that's what they call them, isn't it?
Yes. Well, that's their that's their name.
Oh, that is the name, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
So
Alice, I gotta call it a night.
all right. See you, Harley.
Night, Harley.
Good night, Harley.
Night, guys.
Happy birthday again.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Happy 28th.
I'll take it.
Square one, yeah, square one. Okay, that whole fucking the whole GTA for me is a Ralph now. So, anyways,
Near Cochrane.
You got a nice quiet spot to move to.
I do.
Yeah, I can remember when I was, I think around 15 or something like that. I went and worked for my uncle in Barrie. And I think the population of Barrie at the time was around 78 or 80,000.
Right.
That's when Molson Park was still there. Actually, all that was there was a car dealership where I worked at as a lube rat or whatever you want to call them, changing oil. Molson Park was still open. They had the drive-through beer store where you just pull up, show your ID, and get a case of beer. And I think there was a motocross store, and that was it. Everything else was all farmers' fields, and well, obviously now there's no fields anywhere around there, right?
Yep.
I don't even know what the population of Barrie would be now.
It's developed, man. I mean, look at Mississauga. Mississauga's got over 1 million people now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
The one thing I did always like about Mississauga, though, is when they originally planned like the original subdivisions and all that kind of stuff, they left quite a bit of space. So you still had, like, you know what I mean, like a half decent yard and all that kind of stuff. You weren't so crammed like how they designed most of Toronto, you know?
Yep.
And it was more affordable too, right? That's why we moved there.
At that time, yeah.
At that time, yeah, exactly. Not anymore.
Not anymore, no. No, I mean, even Brampton's is unaffordable. You can't even buy a house in
exactly.
Brampton. It's crazy. I mean, that's where I bought my house. I bought my house up in Brampton because it was about $40,000 cheaper than it was in Vaughan.
Oh yeah.
At that time, right? We're talking like what, 2004? No, actually no, 90, 98, 97.
And you still have that house, or?
No, it's gone. I sold it. We sold it.
You're north of that now, aren't you? Or
yes.
Yeah. A little bit further away from the chaos.
Yeah, I work in the chaos, so at least I get to decompress.
Yeah, leave it at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes. So, speaking of which, I was working on my house. I showed Rocky some pictures. I don't know if you guys wanted to see or not.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Did you get all the edging and stuff done?
Yes, sir.
It looks gorgeous too.
Hold on a second here. So
you didn't stain it or anything yet, though, eh?
No, I'm not going to stain it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to
just seal it.
Yeah, seal it and put a gloss on it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Hold on a second here. Let me
put yourself in the big box.
That's what I'm going to do. Do that right now.
Nice.
I love the edges.
Yeah, it's called a double fancy. Excuse me, a double fancy. A double fancy edge. Hold on, let me see if I got some more here.
It looks nice.
No, Cindy.
Oh my God, with this conservative bullshit.
I know.
I put the oven in the cooktop. The cooktop is hooked up, but the oven is not. Because
nice.
I've got to. Someone's got to help give me a hand with it because it's heavy. But did you notice there's like a bit of there's a 2-inch gap at the top there. I know they sell these fillers. I can probably buy like a stainless steel filler.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it. I was like, you know what? I was hoping that the oven was a little bit higher. But I mean, it's still okay.
So, are you gonna put in a vented microwave above that?
Right above that. Above the cooktop.
Okay.
Yes, Cindy, I did. But the difference is, Cindy, is that your live is a fucking echo chamber. This one is not. We actually talk about ideas and solutions. Yeah. Justin Trudeau or Jagmeet Singh ain't a solution for us. Sorry, Cindy. But thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Somebody's not happy.
Yes, during our live, I stopped by their chat, and for a joke, I said, "Hey, liberals, is this an echo chamber?"
Yeah, I love that though, Alice. It looks gorgeous, man.
Thanks, appreciate that.
I like how the cooktop and everything is.
Yeah, and see how I put the gloss on it. So I put four coats of sealer, and then I put 2 coats of shine.
Yeah.
So it looks really, really nice. I'm happy with it.
Well, they should darken a tiny bit, I would think, over time too, just from like exposure to light and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, it would.
Like not big time darker, but I would think they would drop maybe a couple of shades.
Probably. Yeah, Cindy. You know what? I'm here to work with everybody, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, Cindy. My experience with lefties is not a good one.
Nope.
I'm not saying they're all the same, but I would say that the majority of them are. You know what? They're pretty fucking vicious. Just saying.
I can bear witness to that statement.
Most of them come in like a pit bull.
Yeah, Donnie. If anybody, Donnie can.
Most of the people that do come at me are, I can say statistically on that left side. I do have a lot of great conversations, but still, I would still say it's a lot of the folks on the left that get a little bit over passionate, angry, vicious. Like Alice said, vicious is a good word because I've seen it many a times.
No, sorry, Cindy. I don't talk about religions because I'm not religious. But politics have to be talked about. Sorry. Because you know what? Our politics ain't working for us. Might be working for you. I don't know. But it ain't working for a lot of people. 2 or 4 shades of gray. But hey, Cindy, I like the fact that you're being civil. So I got to give you that, Cindy. No, you're right. I did. I came into your live and I did say that, yes.
Were you starting trouble?
Well, I mean, yeah. That's what I do
At least
best.
you're honest.
She came back to give it back to you.
She did.
she tracked you down.
Get him, Cindy. Get him. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, Cindy, at least I admitted it, though. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
right.
I admitted it. I did do it. Yes. I just went in there. I said, "Hey, liberals." I always say that. Hey, liberals. Oh man. And then I did say the echo chamber. Is this an echo chamber? And then I left.
You little instigator.
Of course, Cindy. Of course, I admit it. But when are lefties going to admit their fucking faults? I admit mine. I have no problem.
So on the other side of that wall there, where your oven is that go directly outside?
The oven?
Yeah, like that wall behind it.
Oh, yeah, it's an outside wall.
Perfect. Nice short vent, man. You could be cooking anything, and it'll power suck it right out.
No. The vent is going to be over the cooktop. No, it's not gas.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, both are electric. I didn't want gas. I mean, I hear gas is good for, I don't know, the taste of food and stuff like that. But I've been hearing that gas prices are going up, like natural gas. So I always preferred electric, to be honest with you. So I'm going to stick with electric.
If you want the grill taste, just get a cast iron grill pan.
Exactly.
There you go.
That is not that
You've got to be super careful on your glass flat top with cast iron, and that's all.
Yes, very gentle.
That's right.
I learned that one the hard way.
So that cooktop is an induction. Not that I wanted it, because I bought that on Facebook Marketplace, and it's in great shape.
I thought it looked like an induction.
Yes. Yeah. Now the thing is, I didn't, like I said, it just was a good price. It was still brand fucking new, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just go for it. So, well, you're
How
right.
many burners does it have?
Yes. I believe 4. I believe. Yes, I hear Cindy. I hear that Alberta that the gas prices are. You know what? It's kind of weird though that you figure that in Alberta it would be cheaper.
Yeah, you hear.
Thanks, Allie. No, you know what? I don't think it has to be magnetic. I gotta look into it. You might be right, but we'll see. Wow, $900.
That's nuts.
I think you got some smudges on your stove.
Thanks, Roxy. Always leave it up to a woman.
They're right.
I'm still.
You really get judged after you're done finishing everything, and it's supposed to be beautiful. Then she's gonna find the tiniest smudge.
I want to see flowers on that island too.
Well, I was thinking about putting whatchamacallit, candles. Well, maybe a candle or 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Cindy.
I just got
Hello.
a couple. But
Sure.
I love the kitchen. I love what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever said it, I think with your stovetop there, I think it does have to be magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Induction, whatever pots.
Yes.
That have the thick bottoms. Anyways, yeah, $900 in Alberta for the last 2 months.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And that's not even the cold month yet.
I know.
Sad.
But digged in shop to put in those. We have those arena heaters. Those, you know what you see in the ice arena.
Oh yeah.
And then because our heater in the shop, which wasn't on during the summer, obviously, and the power bill was still over $900 for 2 months. So to reduce the electricity, doing the gas. So I don't know where you are, Alice, but Ontario?
Yes, I'm in Ontario.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how
Yeah,
much
that's ridiculous.
How much is your normal power bill there?
My last bill was about. Now I haven't moved in the house, right? So it's about $55-$60.
What?
Yeah.
A month?
Yes.
Mine's 170 a month.
I know. It's crazy. Depends on the province that you're at. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Danielle Smith has those vans in Ontario, driving around Parliament and all that, saying, what does it say on it? Nobody wants to die in the dark or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Alberta's paying for that, as we're paying $900 a month.
I thought Danielle Smith was. I don't know, man. This is why I don't believe in any politician. I have no faith in any political party or politicians, man. I think they're all the fucking same.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so just a quick question, Cindy. Do you heat your home with electric baseboard?
No, that's not really an Albertan thing. My husband's from Quebec, and so he said over there that's normal, but in Alberta, no, it's forced air furnace.
Okay. So that's absolutely extra crazy insane for your bill to be that high.
Exactly. So, so my husband and I were talking last night, and I was like, we need to get this power bill down, right? So I said, unplug things in the shop that you're not using. Even though he's not using the 220 heater, I was like, unplug it. So he's like, oh, it's not drawing power, blah, blah, blah. So I was texting a master electrician, a friend of mine, and they're like, it's still drawing power. Like, not obviously full power, but it's still drawing some power. So yes, unplug everything that you're not using at the time. So hopefully that will help, but it's freaking insane here.
Well, and then you got to look at the fine print of your bill breakdown as well, and just double check, because I guarantee your delivery charges and whatever other BS charges they're adding to it, right? Like, that's how they get us too.
So that's what she said, which I love. It's a female friend of mine that's a master electrician. Anyways, that's what she said is the delivery charges, right? Which there could be a cap on it, but no, she's not doing that. But yeah, it's insane. It's freaking insane.
Anything that's considered a necessity of life for our way of life in Canada absolutely should have caps on it or some type of regulation to ensure that Canadians can use it at an affordable rate, and then whatever's excess, then they sell it on the global market or the American market, whatever, like excess power, or even right down to gasoline, oil, wood, everything. We should always be fulfilling our needs first for what we need for our own economy and for our way of life here, and then allow them to make their multi-million and billions on the global market after they fulfill our needs.
Exactly.
100%, Donnie.
Could you imagine any senior that's living in Alberta right now paying their power bill? Like, it's wow. Hey, so Rob wants up. Actually, Rob, I've been trying to send you pictures of our hunting so far. So
I would love to bring Rob up because I like Rob. I think Rob's a cool guy, but it's 11:30 here,
okay,
and
yeah.
I gotta get going.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, just
But Cindy, thank you. And sorry for trolling, but I like to troll.
I just trolled you back.
I know you did, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
All
Have a good night.
Okay, guys.
Sounds good.
Have a good night,
Bye,
Alice.
Roxy. Bye, Avery.